Chapter 1524. When Prince Qin, Gongzhe, and the others approached the Cyclops tribe, they were chased away. The Cyclops tribe was in a period of extreme caution. Your Highness, second prince, quickly step back. Let me reason with these big guys. Gongzhe stood in front of Lord Qin and shouted. He quickly rushed towards the Cyclops. Bang! Before Gongzhe could reason with the Cyclops, he was sent flying with a single punch. Many one-eyed giants rushed over and attacked Crown Prince Qin and the others. As the successor of the dynasty, Prince Qin was extremely famous in the Great Qin Empire. He didn't show any fear in the face of such a force. He said loudly, "Divine alchemist Yang Wu, are you here?" When Yang Wu, who was among the Cyclopes, heard this voice, he stretched lazily and muttered, "I knew the troublemaker would come again." He then transmitted to the Cyclops tribe leader, "Those outside are my friends. Let them come in." "Yes, Master Yang Wu," the Cyclops tribe leader said. The tribe leader was very respectful towards Yang Wu. Not only was Yang Wu's alchemy skills amazing, but Yang Wu's combat strength was also on par with his. He didn't want to offend someone like this. The Cyclops tribe leader gave the order to the Cyclops outside, and they all stopped attacking. "Let the guests in," the Cyclops tribe leader said. Prince Qin and the others finally breathed a sigh of relief. If they really tried to force their way in, they wouldn't be a match for the Cyclops and would be killed. At this moment, Gongzhe rushed back and shouted, "How dare you harm His Highness? I will sentence you all to death." The Cyclops all looked at Gongzhe with their single eyes, and a faint light seemed to shoot out of them. Gongzhe shuddered and said, That was just a slip of the tongue. Don't be angry, don't be angry. We'll leave now. Prince Qin facebombed. He really couldn't be bothered with this silly Gongzhe anymore. He led a group of people to land and walked into the Cyclops tribe. Gongzhe was stunned. After a while, he muttered, "Could it be that these Cyclopes have all been intimidated by me? Can the Crown Prince and the others go in to look for her?" After a pause, he said with certainty, "Yes, that's right. It must be like that." Thus, he carefully followed Crown Prince Qin and the others into the Cyclops tribe. Soon, they saw an old one-eyed giant. It was the leader of the one-eyed giant tribe. On his shoulder sat a fairy-like young man. His clothes fluttered in the wind, and his temperament was outstanding. It was as if a fairy had descended. Even Crown Prince Qin could not compare to him. The Cyclopes were rather repulsed by foreign creatures, but this young man was actually able to stand on the shoulders of the Cyclops tribe leader. This was truly intimidating. When Crown Prince Qin saw him, he bowed his proud head and said, "Greetings, benefactor Yang Wu." The others didn't dare to be negligent and saluted one after another. Gongzhe was the only one who didn't explain, "Your Highness the second prince, aren't we here to take him as a subordinate? You impudent! Hurry up and salute," Crown Prince Qin reprimanded. Gongzhe was so frightened that he trembled. He hurriedly saluted and thought to himself, "My dear mother, could it be that this great master is even more terrifying than the emperor?" Yang Wu looked down at Crown Prince Qin from the shoulder of the one-eyed giant tribe leader and said, "Your Highness, just call me Yang Wu. You don't need to be restrained. These giants are all my friends. They won't hurt you." "Benefactor, you saved my life. I dare not forget," Crown Prince Qin said seriously. "Then don't forget. Why didn't you go to the second level? What are you doing here? Are you still thinking about the giant's heart and Shixingquan?" Yang Wu retorted. "How could I not come when I knew that benefactor was here?" Crown Prince Qin replied. Then, he said, "Benefactor, I have a presumptuous request." "Since it's a presumptuous request, then don't say it." Crown Prince Qin's words were immediately blocked. Gongzhe was unhappy now. He said, "Even if you are the Crown Prince's benefactor, do you know who he is? He is the Great Qin's. General Gongzhe, shut up. You have no right to speak here," Crown Prince Qin said in a low voice. Gongzhi immediately shut up. Since you're here, you can rest here, Yang Wu said and jumped down from the shoulder of the one-eyed giant tribe leader. Then, he looked at Crown Prince Qin and asked, "Are you going to decide the victor here?" Crown Prince Qin's expression showed that he couldn't bear it. He said, "Yes, I don't want to fight with him, but I have no choice. Please help me, benefactor." With that, he bowed deeply to Yang Wu. His posture was very humble. Once, he was hunted down by a heavenly master of the Jade Moon stage and 2 half-step heavenly masters. The powerful cultivators protecting him were all killed. When he was about to die, his benefactor descended from the sky and killed the heavenly master and half-step heavenly master in a few moves, saving his life. At that time, he revered his benefactor as a celestial. Later, when he found out that his benefactor was a divine pharmacist, he was even more impressed. If his benefactor was willing to help him, he was willing to give him the position of Grand Advisor. Unfortunately, although the Great Qin Empire was strong, it wasn't enough to catch his eye. He didn't care about Crown Prince Qin either. "What do I get for helping you?" Yang Wu asked. "If I can successfully become the emperor, Great Qin will definitely form an alliance with your family. Your family's friends will be Great Qin's friends, and your family's enemies will be Great Qin's enemies. Furthermore, we will use the strength of the entire country to support your ascension to a higher position," Crown Prince Qin said solemnly. The sages around him were all shocked. They didn't think that this crown prince would dare to make such a promise. If news of this were to spread, he would probably be scolded as a puppet prince. "You are quite sincere." Yang Wu smiled faintly. He paused and said, "Let's talk about this later. I still have some things to do. I won't leave this level so soon." "Then can I stay and accompany you?" "As you wish," Yang Wu said nonchalantly. He understood Crown Prince Qin's character. He was a good person. If it weren't for the fact that he had a mission, they could be good friends. Unfortunately, the things he carried were too heavy. It was too difficult for the two of them to talk as equals. This was because his goal had always been obvious. He hoped that Yang Wu would help him seize the throne. How could Yang Wu be the kind of person who would bow down to others? Therefore, he used this method wrongly. Crown Prince Qin's group stayed in the land of the Cyclopes. It wasn't easy to find a pure land to recuperate in the space of the end world. These sages were all grateful to Yang Wu. At the same time, they also knew that Yang Wu was one of the top 10 martial saints on the prediction list. They also understood Crown Prince Qin's feelings of submission. Such a person was in existence who had the qualifications to become the first martial saint. In the next 2 days, Yang Wu had been resting and reorganizing. He didn't have much interaction with Crown Prince Qin. Gongzhi, however, was very interesting. He acted as if they were close friends and started to chat with Yang Wu. "Divine Pharmacist Yang Wu, how about I give the position of general to you? My position isn't something that an ordinary person can sit on." "This is sincere enough, right?" "Very sincere. However, I'm very curious. How did you get the position of general?" "Of course it's because of outstanding military achievements. Don't look at how easy it is to talk to you. In reality, who knows how many people are afraid of this general? Why are they afraid of you? With this general's deathless divine technique, no one can kill me. Let's see if they are afraid or not." "Amazing, amazing. I'm afraid." Yang Wu once again opened the furnace to refine pills. The Cyclopes brought over a large amount of materials, more than the previous time. There were 17 or 18 sets of materials. Yang Wu couldn't help but sigh at the rich resources of these races sealed in the end world. Crown Prince Qin, Gongzhi, and the others' eyes turned red. However, they didn't dare to have any thoughts. Moreover, they were sent out to guard the Cyclopes. In reality, they were guarding Yang Wu, not allowing other creatures to come close. Yang Wu already had the experience of refining the Stone Heart Divine Pill once. It was easier for him to refine it again. The steps were simplified by a lot, and the consumption was also reduced by a lot. This time, the condensing of the pill attracted divine lightning again. Moreover, it was 3 layers of lightning. The momentum was much more powerful than the previous time. Oh my god! Brother Yang Wu is really a godly alchemist, Gongzhi exclaimed. Crown Prince Qin had a look of admiration and said, "Yes. Not only is our benefactor's battle prowess shocking, but he is also a godly alchemist. He is a monster with both alchemy and martial arts. In the future, his achievements won't be inferior to Xiang Dingtian's. If such a person joins the Great Qin Empire, it will be a blessing for the Great Qin Empire. Yes, I think you and our benefactor can still talk. You should get closer to him. Maybe he will be willing to help me." "Don't worry, Your Highness. I will definitely persuade him to help you." "Aya, is Yang Wu a godly alchemist looking to die?" Yang Wu faced the divine lightning and soared into the sky. This scared Crown Prince Qin, Gongzhi, and the others to death. The power of the divine lightning was frightening. Even the Cyclops didn't dare to get close. He didn't summon any puppets to block it. Instead, he rushed up himself. In their eyes, this was an act of suicide. Yang Wu naturally wasn't courting death. He swung his fists and punched the overbearing divine lightning. The divine lightning collapsed and he fell rapidly. However, he rushed up again and punched several times. The divine lightning collapsed inch by inch. The power of his punches could even shatter the divine lightning. It was too overbearing. As the divine lightning continued to strike, Yang Wu didn't have it easy either. Especially when the third wave of divine lightning came, the purple cloud thunder almost took human form. It was like a thunder dragon that wanted to bite Yang Wu into pieces. "Come at me more fiercely!" Yang Wu shouted loudly. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his white robe fluttered. His fist aura surged like a giant black tortoise, with the armor absorbing most of the power and the heavenly thunder bone absorbing some of it. He took the rest. Rumble, rumble! The earth-shattering aura frightened all living beings within a radius of 1,000 miles. Yang Wu was drowned by the divine lightning. The Cyclops, Crown Prince Qin, and the others were dumbfounded. They were so shocked that they couldn't describe their feelings. What a godly person! Chapter 1525. Yang Wu's lightning resistance wasn't something a normal person could compare to. Even a normal Jade Moon Realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand heavenly lightning, but he could ignore it. From this, it could be seen that his physical strength had reached a shocking level. After Yang Wu finished another batch of Stone Heart Divine Pills, the Cyclopes celebrated wildly. Yang Wu had obtained an astonishing harvest from the Cyclops tribe. Young Master Qin and Gongzhi were drooling as they watched. This was the power of a divine alchemist. No other martial artist could compare to him. Yang Wu prepared to leave the Cyclopes and head to the Flying Alligator tribe's swamp. He said goodbye to the Cyclopes chief. The Cyclopes chief said, "Grandmaster Yang Wu, I'll send 2 of my juniors to accompany you. That way you can avoid unnecessary trouble." Yang Wu wanted to refuse, but after a moment's hesitation, he nodded in agreement. He didn't want to stay on the first floor for too long. Having 2 giants lead the way wasn't a bad idea. It looked very impressive. The 2 Cyclops giants sent by the Cyclops Patriarch were Gobi and Gore. When the 2 Cyclops giants saw Yang Wu, they were very respectful. They already knew Yang Wu's abilities, so they didn't dare to be arrogant. "Grandmaster Yang Wu, please come to my shoulder." Gobi was the first to speak. Gore quickly said, "Grandmaster Yang Wu, please come to my shoulder. It's more comfortable here." "I invited him first. Don't fight with me." "What do you mean you invited him first? We're the ones escorting Grandmaster Yang Wu. There's no such thing as last. It's all up to Grandmaster Yang Wu. You're here to fight with me for the credit. You just love to show off. You think too highly of yourself." The 2 Cyclopes began arguing over Yang Wu's shoulder. It looked like they were about to fight. Gongzhi said shamelessly. One of you is carrying Yang Wu, while the other is carrying me. What's there to argue about? Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, he was sent flying by a punch. Yang Wu leaped onto Gobi's shoulder and said, "Don't talk nonsense. Let's go. This young master will take turns sitting on you." The two one-eyed giants didn't dare to talk nonsense. They hurriedly took Yang Wu on their way. Qin Shitzi and the others also followed behind. They didn't put on any airs of a prince. No one dared to raise any objections. The strong were respected, and Yang Wu was much stronger than them. The flying alligator swamp was in the middle of a poisonous miasma. No one would think of going there to court death. Other than the deadly poisonous miasma, the flying crocodiles were equally terrifying. They reproduced in large numbers and had strong offensive power. They could fly in the sky and burrow into the ground. They were one of the most powerful races in the first layer. The reason why Yang Wu rushed here was naturally because he had a request. The place where the flying crocodiles resided was nurturing a kind of herb called marsh fishgrass. This kind of herb was almost impossible to find in the transcendent realm. It could be found in the flying crocodile's territory. It wasn't an extremely precious herb and was highly toxic, but to Yang Wu, it was no less useful than a top-grade saint herb. It was one of the best herbs for tempering one's nerves. With it and other herbs, one could stimulate the nerves and increase one's soul force. He had no use for it, but it was useful for everyone around him. Previously, when Yang Taihe entered the war tomb, he used the decaying wind to temper himself, increase his willpower, and increase his soul force. These were all important things for increasing one's martial strength. Before entering the End World, Yang Wu had a certain understanding of the End World. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to the flying crocodile's territory to look for the marsh fishgrass. Along the way, with Gobi and Gore leading the way, the dangers he encountered were reduced by half. The reason why it was reduced by half was because some intelligent creatures wouldn't come into conflict with the Cyclops. The other half came from the vicious beasts and plants here. They didn't care what race one was from. As long as one approached their territory, they would attack without any regard for their lives. The Cyclops' defense was unparalleled. Ordinary attacks couldn't injure them at all, so they charged forward forcefully. On the contrary, young Master Qin, Gongzhi, and the others were in a much more difficult situation. If not for Yang Wu calling the Cyclops to help them, they would have definitely suffered casualties. Unknowingly, they arrived at a place covered in gray fog. This gray fog was a type of poison barrier. It looked harmless, and there wasn't much difference in breathing it into the body. However, after accumulating for a long time, this gray fog would corrode from the inside out, killing people. This place wasn't just the flying crocodile's territory, but also a large number of poisonous insects. Only strange insects could be seen buzzing in the air. There were also brightly colored poisonous snakes and pythons crawling all over the ground. It was an incomparably frightening sight. Most of the creatures near this place were already dead. Not far away there were a few saints' corpses that were rotting. There were poisonous insects and snakes gnawing on them. Yang Wu stood on the Cyclops' shoulder and saw this scene from afar. His face revealed a somewhat serious expression. He said to young Master Qin and the others, "Don't follow me in. It's very scary inside. You'll definitely die if you go in." "Benefactor, we're not afraid of death. As long as you need us, we can lend you a hand at any time," young Master Qin replied. "Not bad, not bad. I have the immortal deity technique. No matter what kind of opponent it is, I can deal with it," Gongzhi said confidently. "Countless poisonous insects, pythons, and lizard. Are you sure you want to follow?" Yang Wu asked back. In an instant, young Master Qin, Gongzhi, and the others' expressions changed. They were saints, so they weren't afraid of ordinary poisonous creatures. However, the poisonous creatures in this space were definitely of a high level. If it was really as Yang Wu said, they would most likely be in danger if they went in. If we can't even deal with this little difficulty, how can we talk about becoming a saint? I'll go with you, benefactor, young Master Qin said calmly. Gongzhi hurriedly said, Yes, yes, I'll go with you. The others had no choice but to go with him. Yang Wu didn't mind. Young Master Qin was right. If they didn't even have the courage to do this, how could they become a saint? Each of them took a detoxifying pill and began to step over the poisonous barrier. When they got closer, many poisonous insects flew over. Buzz buzz. These poisonous insects looked like bees, but they weren't bees. They looked incomparably ferocious and strange. They were a type of ancient insect, and their poison was incomparably overbearing. They were very large, half the size of a human head. There were many of them, at least tens of thousands. Before they even arrived, waves of poisonous fog surged towards them. Yen Wang, go and exterminate the insects, General Gongzhi ordered. Yes, General. One of the saints responded and took a step forward. He condensed into a fire serpent and charged towards the poisonous bugs to burn them. This was a type of high-level sacred fire, and its power was astonishing. The poisonous fog was incinerated, and a group of poisonous insects were killed by the fire snake. These poisonous insects' levels weren't high, and they couldn't resist the sacred fire's burning. Unfortunately, when these poisonous insects were burned to death, a stench suddenly spread out. This stench was even more terrifying than the poisonous fog, and it had the ability to corrode the saints' saint robes. Gobi's voice rang out, after the stinky fog insects die, they release a stinky fog. It's incomparably poisonous. Be careful. Not good, the stinky fog insect king is coming out. Hurry up and attack with fire. Don't let them get close. Their fog is not only extremely poisonous, but it can also corrode all energy shields, Gore added. Yen Wang, continue to attack with fire. Bailey, Yang Hong, you guys take over. Lu Yufei, you guys shoot from behind. Don't let them come within 10,000 feet of you. Kill them all. Luo Hong, you guys form a half-shield formation and protect His Highness, the second prince. Gongzhi gave the order in an orderly manner. Under his command, the 30 or so saints formed a neat formation and attacked the smelly bugs. First, they attacked with fire. Then, they attacked from a distance. The ones at the back went into a defensive mode and killed the stinky fog insects in an orderly manner. Many stinky fog insects flew toward them, but they were killed by the saint. Yang Wu couldn't help but look at Gongzhi. He thought to himself, sure enough, if he can become a commander, he's not an ordinary person. Gongzhi looked dumb, but in fact, he was a really good commander. Under his command, the stinky fog insects and snakes nearby were all killed. The ones that weren't killed couldn't get close, so they didn't cause too much damage. Just like that, they advanced for several kilometers, and faced more and more poisonous creatures. Gongzhi had no choice but to summon his marching divine diagram. After the power of all the saints poured into it, this divine diagram exploded with incredible power, and all the poisonous creatures within a radius of several kilometers were cleared. General Gongzhi, not bad, Qin Shixi praised. Of course. To be able to become the second prince's chief general, how could I not have some skills? General Gongzhi said proudly. General, quickly control the map. There's a big guy coming, a saint warned. A huge figure came from the sky, and a huge claw grabbed at Gongzhi. Gongzhi didn't react fast enough, and he was knocked into the ground. Without Gongzhi controlling the marching god map, the power became unstable, and he was sent flying by the other claw. This was an evil flood dragon with claws. It was at least half a step away from the heavenly ascension realm. In this territory, its power could threaten the heavenly ascension realm. The saints didn't panic. They worked together and burst out waves of saint power, attacking the flood dragon. Overwhelming power exploded at the same time. There were sword lights and knife shadows. The combined power was amazing. They attacked the flood dragon, trying to force it to leave. The flood dragon roared again and again. It controlled the poisonous fog around it, forming a poisonous cloud. It also spat out terrifying venom, corroding the power of the attack. In addition, the evil flood dragon swung its tail and swept away a few saints with the power of 1,000 soldiers. Seeing that it was about to succeed, Gongja rushed up and shouted, "Flood dragon, don't hurt my subordinates!" The meteor hammers flew over, and the powerful force of the hammers hit the evil flood dragon, causing it to cry out in pain. "Trying to be fierce in front of me? You overestimate yourself. Ouch!" Bang. Chapter 1526. Gongja was a careless guy. He had been too distracted on the battlefield, and now he was in trouble. He wasn't weak, and he could fight a half-step into the Sky Ascension realm. But this was the evil flood dragon's territory. It had the advantage, and he dared to be careless. The flood dragon wanted to kill him, even at the risk of being hit. If he hadn't been wearing a set of armor, he would have died many times over. Seeing that the flood dragon was about to kill Gongja, Yang Wu said to the Cyclops beside him, "Gore, attack." "Yes, Master Yang Wu," Gore replied. His single eye shot out a beam of light toward the flood dragon. The flood dragon reacted quickly. It gave up on chasing Gongja and spat out a beam of energy, which exploded on the Cyclops' light. Boom! The two powers collided, creating a huge commotion. Gore wanted to show off in front of Yang Wu. He shouted, "I'm going to tear you apart, you little loach!" He stepped forward, and his two giant hands reached out to grab the flood dragon. The flood dragon, which was thousands of feet long, wasn't very big in his eyes. It was just a little bit longer. The yellow power of the earth enveloped the flood dragon, trying to bind it. He also released a gravitational field, which suppressed the flood dragon's speed. The evil Jiao dragon's strength wasn't any weaker than Gore's. It roared, twisted its body, and slashed with its claws, colliding head-on with Gore. Clashing head-on with the Cyclops tribe wasn't a good thing. The Cyclops were least afraid of this kind of fighting. The evil Jiao dragon's body crushed the Cyclops' body, trying to bind the Cyclops. Unexpectedly, the Cyclops grabbed the Jiao dragon's body first, crushing the Jiao dragon's flesh and blood. The flood dragon opened its mouth and bit the Cyclops, but its teeth couldn't pierce the Cyclops' skin. It was like gnawing on a hard rock, and its teeth were about to break. The flood dragon was very frustrated. Its physical strength was very strong, but it couldn't compare to the Cyclops. "Little loach, die!" Gore shouted. He grabbed the flood dragon's body and tore it apart. Roar! The evil flood dragon's body was directly torn in half by Gore. Gore wasn't having a good time either. The poisonous mist on the evil flood dragon's body kept corroding his body. It kept invading his body and corroding him into a black giant. The flood dragon was strangled to death by Gore. Qin Shitzi, Gongja, and the others watched in amazement. The Cyclops' talent was indeed extraordinary. Yang Wu asked with concern, "Is there a way to cure it?" Beneath him, Gobi replied, "Don't worry, great god Yang Wu. This poisonous fog can't hurt us." At the next moment, Gore's body trembled, and layers of stony skin fell off. The poisoned parts were all removed. Gore had lost a lot of weight, but the poisonous fog on his body had been completely removed. "Don't worry, Grandmaster. Once we leave this place, I'll eat a few stones to make up for it." "I won't die," Gore replied nonchalantly. This ability was their innate talent, and it was also the most important thing they relied on to survive. That's good. Let's keep going," Yang Wu said with relief. Gobi said, "Grandmaster, once we reach the swamp, we won't be able to accompany you. Our bodies are too heavy. After falling into the swamp, we won't be able to climb out." Gore said from the side, "That's right. Many people in my clan hate coming here. If we get too close, we'll fall. That thing is too sticky and we can't absorb it." "It'll be fine once we get close," Yang Wu said without a care. As long as they sent him to the swamp, he would personally search for the marsh smelly grass. It shouldn't be hard to find. After killing the flood dragon, The poisonous creatures they encountered later wouldn't be difficult to deal with. Qin Shitzi and the others should be enough. Qin Shitzi usually didn't make a move, but he always held the yellow dragon sword, ready to draw it. Any poisonous creatures that were worth his attention would be killed in one strike. With a thrust of the sword, the yellow dragon would awaken and kill all living things. Along the way, it wasn't that they didn't have any gains. They obtained a few strange objects that contained potent poison. For a poison cultivator, they could be exchanged for many valuable items. Poisonous objects didn't mean they were useless. Just like the marsh smelly grass, it was also poisonous. However, if used properly, it was a rare and valuable item. They finally approached the swamp of the flying alligators. The two cyclopes stopped. Yang Wu stood on top of the desert and looked over there. He directly opened his soul eye and broke through the layers of obstructions so that he could see clearly what was happening in the swamp. The gray poisonous fog couldn't obstruct his vision at all. The swamp was very wide, and on top of it was a layer of thick liquid. There were also some rotting things floating on top, emitting waves of foul odor. They contained potent poison. At first glance, he didn't see any traces of the flying alligators. However, after a closer look, he found that there were long black shadows on the surface of the swamp. Those were the flying alligators hiding on top of the swamp. In addition, there were many poisonous grasses growing on the swamp. Yang Wu quickly identified some of the poisonous grasses. They were the marsh smelly grass he was looking for. The marsh smelly grass, which was rarely seen in the outside world, grew in patches here. Yang Wu wiped away his excitement and said, "Wait for me here. I'll leave after I get the marsh smelly grass." Then, without waiting for others to react, he swept into the swamp. "Benefactor, wait for me," Prince Qin responded and chased after him. Gongzhi shouted, "Protect His Highness." Thus, Prince Qin's followers all rushed forward. "Don't follow me. It's very dangerous here," Yang Wu responded. Prince Qin and the others didn't listen to Yang Wu and soon suffered losses. When they came above the swamp, the poisonous fog became very different. There was a sticky force binding them, trying to pull them into the swamp. Moreover, the poisonous fog was corroding their defensive holy qi. Once it slowly invaded, they would be in danger. Hiss, hiss. Suddenly, a thick and long shadow rushed out from the surface of the swamp and bit towards Yang Wu, Prince Qin, and the others. "Attack!" Crown Prince Qin shouted and finally drew his sword. If he didn't draw his sword now, when would he do it? His drawing of the sword was extremely clean and nimble. With one strike, a yellow dragon appeared. The terrifying yellow dragon sword slashed at the flying crocodiles. A terrifying golden sword mark appeared, and in an instant, many flying crocodiles were drowned by the sword mark. They were cut in half and fell to the ground. Prince Qin's strength was extraordinary. Gongzhi and the others kept attacking, not allowing the flying crocodiles to come closer. At the same time, they didn't dare to rush forward. The sticky force here was too terrifying. If they moved forward, they might not be able to break free. Moreover, there were too many flying crocodiles here. They rushed out of the swamp one by one, and their attacks were extremely ferocious. Not only could these flying alligators use heaven evasion, they could also fly. They had a pair of wings, and their speed was astonishing. Their sinister mouths were filled with sharp teeth, and if one was bitten, even gold would be crushed. If Prince Qin, Gongzhi, and the others wanted to force their way through, they might have to fight a bloody battle or even lose their lives. They could only watch Yang Wu go deeper into the swamp. When they saw Yang Wu go deeper into the swamp with ease, they felt a strong desire to worship him. Yang Wu's movements were as light as the wind and clouds. The sticky poison here did not seem to have any effect on him. He was fearless. The speed of the flying alligators was very fast, but he seemed to be able to predict the future. He was always able to easily avoid them, causing the flying alligators to bite empty air. Even if they launched long-range attacks, they could not touch him at all. He had merged into the wind. Every step he took was like a gust of wind. His figure was ghostly, and the flying crocodiles couldn't compare to him. Yang Wu was selective in the direction he moved. He was always heading towards the area where the marsh smelly grass was growing and harvesting one stalk after another. Despicable human, do you think my race is your backyard? A powerful flying crocodile couldn't take it anymore. It rushed out of the swamp and exploded with its strongest power. Swamp masses covered the sky and rolled toward Yang Wu. There was also a black bone weapon that pierced through the air and aimed at Yang Wu. This was a peak demonic saint. Its attack was very powerful and difficult to block. After all, this swamp was their territory. The boundless swamp was controlled by it and enveloped Yang Wu, not giving Yang Wu a direction to escape. Yang Wu didn't run away. He smiled and said, "I wanted to take some swamp smelly grass and leave. Now it seems that I need to add another crocodile corpse." In the next moment, he made his move. Mercy hand. Bang! Yang Wu shot out a palm across the air, which caused the space in this part of the world to explode. The swamp forces were all broken. It was impossible to restrain Yang Wu. The palm force fell on the flying crocodile. It didn't even have the chance to escape before it was smashed by this extremely domineering palm. That part of the swamp had sunk a few dozen feet, and countless swamp mud splashed everywhere. The destructive power was too shocking. Not only was that flying heavenly crocodile slapped to death, but a few of the weaker flying heavenly crocodiles in the vicinity also suffered. The power of this palm was so powerful that it scared the surrounding flying crocodile. When the dead flying crocodile floated up, the eyes of the flying crocodile turned red. They flew into the air and surrounded Yang Wu, not giving him a chance to escape. "Eat him!" One of the flying crocodile gave the order. Then, hundreds of flying crocodile attacked Yang Wu at the same time. Yang Wu covered his forehead and muttered, "I miscalculated." He thought that by killing a powerful flying crocodile, he could intimidate the other flying crocodile. Now, it seemed that wasn't the case. General Gongzhou was very loyal and shouted, "Divine Apothecary Yang Wu, don't be afraid. We are here to save you." Right after he shouted, a wave of flying crocodile attacked them crazily. Crown Prince Qin ordered, "Let's retreat. Don't be a burden to our benefactor." Thus, the group of people left the swamp. General Gongzhou was puzzled. "Your Highness, why don't we save Divine Apothecary Yang Wu? You will know when you see." Chapter 1527. In the swamp. It was gray and misty, and poisonous fog was everywhere. The air was extremely stifling, and there were continuous explosions. The flying crocodiles were sent flying in all directions. That's right, they were sent flying. They were not sent flying naturally because they were sent flying. The power of the fist and palm kept fluctuating, and the flying crocodiles were sent flying like cannonballs. Some of them exploded into a bloody mist in the process of being sent flying. They couldn't be more dead. Even if they didn't die, they died very quickly. They couldn't withstand the attack at all. It was too ferocious. It was a spotless young man. His fist and palm didn't contain any celestial chi, only the stance of martial arts. He killed the flying crocodiles with the strength of his physical body. Whether it was a minor demon saint or a demon saint, there was no difference in his eyes. They were all killed with a punch or palm. As for the power of their attacks, they couldn't even get close to him. There was an invisible force that scattered them all. Gongzhou and the others outside were dumbfounded. They had seen many experts, but Yang Wu's level was too rare. Moreover, he was only a young man. Gongzhou swallowed and said, "Divine Apothecary Yang Wu is too powerful. If I get hit by his fist, I don't know if my divine armor can withstand it." Someone beside him said, "It definitely can't." Someone else added, "You'll die without a doubt." General Gongzhou felt cold all over. After more than half of the hundreds and thousands of flying crocodiles were killed, the flying crocodiles were finally afraid. After the flying crocodiles sent out the signal to escape, They all escaped into the swamp and didn't dare to come out again. The poison here couldn't hurt him, and the swamp mud couldn't make him sink too deep. Their advantage was reduced by half. In terms of strength, they were no match for him. If they continued to fight, they would only be killed by him. The swamp calmed down. Yang Wu easily took some swamp-smelly grass and collected a few high-level flying crocodiles' corpses before leaving. I didn't want to kill, but you forced me. Ba. After Crown Prince Qin, Gongzhe, and the others heard this, they cursed in their hearts. Even a divine apothecary can pretend. When Yang Wu came out, Qin couldn't help but ask, "Benefactor, what's the use of this little grass? Try it and you'll know." Yang Wu tossed a stalk to Crown Prince Qin. The marsh stench grass was very small, only about the length of a finger. It had a thin stem with thorns and a few small leaves. It emitted a fishy smell. Gongzhe hurriedly stopped him. "Your Highness, Second Prince, don't eat it recklessly." Just as he finished speaking, Qin Shixi tossed the herb into his mouth. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and smiled. "Your courage is commendable." The next moment, Qin Shixi clutched his throat and rolled on the ground, screaming, "Ah!" The saints instantly panicked. "Not good. His Highness the Second Prince has been poisoned. Quickly feed him the antidote." Someone said, "Godly apothecary Yang Wu, why did you want to harm the Second Prince?" Someone else asked, "Save the Second Prince first." Gongzhe grabbed Yang Wu and shouted, "You're too bold. How dare you harm the Second Prince? I'll take you down first." Gongzhe's loyalty was commendable. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to make a move against Yang Wu. Before he could touch Yang Wu had already reached Qin's side and helped him up. He crushed some herbs in his hand and stuffed them into the Second Prince's mouth. Then he muttered, "It's good to temper your nerves. There won't be any harm." This time, no one dared to act rashly. They didn't know what Yang Wu meant by this. After Yang Wu finished, he allowed Qin to continue screaming and struggling. He said to Gongzhe and the others, "Don't worry. If I want to kill him, it's just a matter of a slap. I don't have the heart to play with him." Everyone understood what Yang Wu meant and felt that he made sense. They didn't act rashly for the time being. Gongzhe couldn't help but ask, "Godly alchemist, the Second Prince, will he be fine?" Yang Wu shrugged and said, "If he can endure it, he'll reap great rewards. If he can't, he'll probably become an idiot." This won't do." Gongzhe panicked. "Why not? I can do it." Qin suddenly roared and released a powerful aura. It was like a yellow dragon struggling and roaring. He was using all his strength to resist the effects of the marsh stench grass and break through his current willpower. Yang Wu looked at Qin with admiration and didn't say anything else. He believed that Qin could endure it. If he couldn't even endure this little headache, how could he become the emperor of the great Qin Empire in the future? Everyone else looked at the struggling Qin with heartache. They were all helpless and didn't dare to interfere. They were afraid of angering the godly alchemist. Crown Prince Qin yelled again and again. His fists kept smashing into the ground, causing the ground to cave in. Boom, boom, boom. After venting for an unknown amount of time, he gradually calmed down. He was covered in sweat and looked extremely weak. His body fell to the ground, scaring Gongzhe and the others. Yang Wu said lightly, "If you don't want his efforts to go to waste, wake him up." Instantly, no one dared to make a move. Qin fainted. But he didn't die. Yang Wu patiently waited for him to wake up. Of course, he didn't just wait in the same spot. He continued to look for other things nearby. As a godly alchemist, there were many things he needed in this primitive land. He couldn't let go of them. After sleeping for a few days, Qin finally woke up. His opened eyes were shining like a fierce dragon that had just woken up. They were extremely sharp and shocking. "Your Highness, what happened to you?" Gongzhe sensed the change in Crown Prince Qin and asked cautiously. He thought to himself, did something really happen to the Second Prince? The others looked at him nervously. They didn't want anything to happen to the second prince. Erchin retracted his aura and smiled calmly. I'm fine. I'm fine, I'm fine. Then, he looked for Yang Wu's figure. When he found Yang Wu, he bowed solemnly and said, Thank you, benefactor. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, If you're fine, let's continue. I don't want to waste too much time here. I'll listen to benefactor's instructions. Erchin replied. He was incomparably sensitive to Yang Wu. The marsh stench grass actually had the ability to stimulate the nerves. His soul rank had increased by at least one level, and his senses had become even more extraordinary. This was his greatest gain. It would be greatly beneficial for him to break through in the future. It was natural for him to be so grateful to Yang Wu. If it was someone else, they would probably treat the marsh stench grass as poison and wouldn't dare to consume it. Moreover, Yang Wu had given him a few more herbs to maximize the effects of the marsh stench grass and remove some of the poison. Otherwise, he would have died. At this moment, he was completely in awe of Yang Wu. At the same time, he was thinking about whether or not he should ask Yang Wu for a few stalks of marsh stench grass. Even if it was something of a higher grade, it wouldn't be out of the question. He didn't dare to ask immediately and decided to leave this matter for later. Yang Wu once again came to Gobi and Gore's side. This time, he stood on Gore's back and told them to go to the bamboo forest. According to the records, the bamboo forest was the place with the greatest opportunities on the first floor. It was also a place that many saints yearned for. Listening to the sounds of the bamboo forest could calm one's mind and allow one to enter a state of enlightenment. This bamboo forest was incomparably difficult to find. Even if one found it, it would be difficult to approach. There were sentient races guarding this area. They had long since made the bamboo forest a forbidden area and no one was allowed to approach without their permission. Yang Wu asked Gobi and Gore about the bamboo forest situation. The two giants went back and forth and explained the general situation. It turned out that the creatures there were very smart. They were willing to let other creatures enter, but there were conditions. First, they had to satisfy their conditions. Second, they had to pass the bamboo forest's test before they could enter. The first condition was to take out something that could move their hearts and obtain their approval. The second condition was a rule set by the bamboo forest. Without a certain level of ability, one couldn't enter the forest. Legend has it that this rule had already been set in ancient times. This also meant that the bamboo forest was a mystical place planted by some powerful creatures. It was a place of inheritance. After hearing this, Yang Wu became even more interested in the bamboo forest. Young Master Qin said from the side, "The bamboo forest is definitely an important place on the first floor. Perhaps a third of the saints will rush there to try their luck." "Looks like it's very interesting," Yang Wu replied. "I want to go in and see what's so interesting about the bamboo forest," Gongzhi said confidently. They went north and encountered many saints along the way. When these saints saw the two Cyclopes, they avoided them. The Cyclopes' offensive and defensive abilities were too strong. No one wanted to provoke them. However, when some people saw that there was someone on the Cyclopes' shoulders, they were extremely shocked. Who was so arrogant to be able to sit on the Cyclopes' shoulders? When they saw clearly, someone recognized Yang Wu and exclaimed, "That's Yang Wu." Yang Wu's name had already spread throughout the Transcendent Realm. Everyone in the 108 realms knew his name. As expected of someone in the top 10 of the prediction list, he even subdued the Cyclopes. He's too powerful. These Cyclopes have always been united and have very stubborn personalities. How did he do it? We don't understand the world of divine apothecaries. These saints were extremely envious. With the Cyclopes leading the way, they would be able to avoid many detours. They saw a group of people following behind Yang Wu, and some of them suggested to follow Yang Wu. They believed that they could stay in this place for a longer time, and maybe even gain something. Thus, some people followed behind young Master Qin, Gongzhe, and the others, planning to take advantage of the situation. Yang Wu ignored them. Young Master Qin didn't mind either. He needed to make more friends to strengthen his abilities. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Yang Wu, Honorary Vice Leader. Vice Leader Chao is being bullied. Chapter 1528. The Apothecaries Alliance was an intermediary organization and an alliance of apothecaries. Following the medicine sect's departure, the Apothecaries Alliance's power had been greatly weakened. However, its foundation was still there, and there were still many people following Xiang Dingtian. Furthermore, with the rise of Chao Jifei and Yang Wu's influence, the Apothecaries Alliance had been suppressing the Medicine Sect Alliance. Many saints who had attached themselves to the Apothecaries Alliance would definitely attend this martial saint conference. Chao Jifei had inherited her master's abilities and was well versed in both medicine and medicine. She would not miss this opportunity. Chao Jifei, Zhang Xiaoru, Dan Li, and other powerful divine apothecaries were all attending the conference. Their status was incomparably noble, and the people who had followed them were even worse. They were all saint apothecaries and had other saint apothecaries who were willing to escort them. Especially Chao Jifei, who was so beautiful, she had many bodyguards by her side. With these people, it would not be a problem to protect them. However, there were people who were targeting them and wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. These people were from the Medicine Sect Alliance. In a dangerous place not far from the bamboo forest, an intense battle was taking place. Chao Jifei, Zhang Xiaoru, and the others had been attacked by terrifying wild beasts, and the Medicine Sect Alliance had plotted against them. These wild beasts were wild beasts from the Endworld. They were under the command of a beast tamer from the Medicine Sect Alliance, and had attacked Chao Jifei and the others. This beast tamer was one of the rare talents that the Medicine Sect Alliance had found with great difficulty. The other party was very ugly and short. Just looking at him would make people feel disgusted. However, he was born with the talent to tame beasts. He had been with all kinds of ferocious beasts since he was young and could tame different ferocious beasts. This talent was very similar to Xiaoman's. This person called himself Seiju and had the power of a top-tier saint. The saints leading the Medicine Sect Alliance were Yao Isa and Zhu Jingming. Both of them were top-tier saint apothecaries. The former was still young while the latter was a saint apothecary who had been famous for a long time. Yao Isa was 200 to 300 years older than the deceased Yao Wushuang. He was less than 500 years old and was once the most outstanding genius of the medicine sect. However, after Yao Wushuang's appearance, he was sent to the Medicine Sect Alliance, and Yao Wushuang's fame had overshadowed Isa. In fact, Yao Isa's talent was even better than Yao Wushuang's. It was just that the Medicine Sect had purposely concealed it and did not allow him to show off his abilities. Zhu Jingming's Zhu family was another large branch family of the Medicine Sect. This saint pharmacist had a high chance of becoming a divine pharmacist. His alchemy skills were not inferior to Xiang Dingtian's chief disciple, Zhang Xiaoru. With the two of them leading the group and the other saints following them, their momentum was rather impressive. The Medicine Sect Alliance was determined to destroy the foundation of the Apothecary Alliance, so they had made preparations beforehand. They had used pills to rope in a group of saints to join their team. Furthermore, the organizations that they were collaborating with were also willing to cooperate with them to kill Chao Jifei, Zhang Jieru, and the others. Naturally, the Apothecary Alliance was going to suffer a great loss. The Apothecary Alliance had more than 100 saints, while the Medicine Sect Alliance had more than 300 saints. They also had an army of vicious beasts, so they had an absolute advantage. This time, the members of the Medicine Sect's Alliance won't be able to escape even if they have wings. Chao Jifei is mine. A young man with bangs covering half of his face stood on top of a mountain as he spoke complacently. This person was Yao Isa of the Medicine Sect's Alliance. He was also the Vice Alliance leader of the Medicine Sex Alliance. The elder next to him was Zhu Jingming. He faintly said, Chao Jifei is indeed not bad. If Wu Shuang had worked harder and married her back then, our Medicine Sect Alliance would have been strengthened. We might even have been able to swallow the Apothecary Alliance. That short-lived bastard is useless. This time, I will get rid of her in the apocalypse world. What's done can't be undone. If she doesn't want to submit, I'll just kill her. It'll save us a lot of trouble. Yao Isa coldly said. Yes, the Apothecary Alliance has a very strong general. I'm afraid it won't be that easy to take them down. Zhu Jingming said. He paused for a moment before adding, put in more effort and take them down quickly. A long delay means trouble. Don't worry. In this place, no one will dare to interfere with the grudges between our two alliances. Yao Isa said with confidence. He hesitated for a moment before shouting, Chao Jifei, as long as you're willing to be my woman and let them join the Medicine Sect Alliance, I can spare their lives. On the battlefield, Chao Jifei had already fallen into a dangerous situation. If it weren't for the powerful half-step Tong Tian protecting her, she would have been captured by the enemy. This half-step Tong Tian was called Lai Yifeng. He was one of the geniuses that Xiang Dingtian had nurtured. He was extremely loyal to the Apothecary Alliance, and was the leader of the guards that secretly protected the Apothecary Alliance's alchemists. Lai Yifeng held 2 swords in his hands and attacked with both swords. Each of his attacks contained the way of the sword. He blocked all the attacks that surrounded him. This person wasn't very famous, but he definitely had the strength to become a martial saint. The other members of the Apothecary Alliance were surrounded and killed. Some had already been killed, while others had fled in fear. The rest were only loyal members of the Apothecary Alliance. Chao Jifei wasn't weak either, but she lacked battle experience. Surrounded by so many martial saints, it was difficult for her to even protect herself, let alone kill them. Without waiting for Chao Jifei to reply, Dan Li shouted, Yao Isa, you're too bold. Aren't you afraid that Alliance leader Xiang will kill you all? Dan Li was Chao Jifei's loyal admirer. He already held a high position in the Apothecary Alliance. When he heard Yao Isa say this, he was naturally displeased. Dan Li, is it? I heard that you're the most outstanding alchemist in the Pill clan. I'll personally send you on your way. Yao Isa shouted and flew over from the mountain peak, heading straight for Dan Li. Chao Jifei said to Lai Yifeng, Brother Feng, go kill him. Vice Alliance leader, I'm here to protect you, Lai Yifeng replied. Killing him is more practical than protecting me, Chao Jifei emphasized. Lai Yifeng didn't reply. He continued to slash with his 2 blades, cutting down one beast after another. In his eyes, how could killing Yao Isa be more important than protecting Chao Jifei? He liked her too. Chao Jifei was furious. She held her flaming sword and attacked left and right. She was like a butterfly flitting through flowers. It was a beautiful sight. Unfortunately, there were too many attacks coming her way. It was getting harder and harder for her to deal with them. Without first Lai Feng by her side to protect her, she would be in grave danger. Under the protection of others, Yao Isa closed in on Dan Li. Purple flames appeared on his palms as he slapped at Dan Li. Purple flames overflowing heaven palm. Yao Isa was an outstanding alchemist. He was most skilled in palm technique. His purple flames were a top-grade sacred flame. When combined with a powerful palm technique, the power was astonishing. Yao Isa was much stronger than Dan Li. How could Dan Li possibly block this palm strike? A saint flew out from beside him and blocked this palm strike for him. Bang! The man wasn't weak, but he was still weaker than Yao Isa. Not only was he sent flying, but his arms and body were burned by the purple flames. He screamed in pain. Not long after, he was instantly burned to ashes. A martial saint at the 7th level of the astral rune realm had fallen. Dan Li screamed in pain, Elder He! The one who protected him was his martial saint. Unfortunately, He couldn't even take a single palm from Yao Isa. "I'm going to kill you!" Danli shouted crazily. He took out his half-step divine weapon, the cloud-piercing chain, and swung it at Yao Isa. The cloud-piercing chain broke through space and went to bind Yao Isa. A good weapon depends on who is using it. Yao Isa was much stronger than Danli. He easily dodged Danli's attack. He circled behind Danli and slapped at him again. Puff! Danli was wearing martial saint armor, but he couldn't block the palm. He spat out blood. Yao Isa attacked again. Danli looked at Chao Jifei and shouted, "Sorry, Consort Ji." Then, he crushed the jade tablet. A ray of light flashed and brought him out of the battlefield. Yao Isa missed and said unhappily, "At least you know what's good for you." After Danli left the final world, the others lost their will to fight. They crushed their jade tablets and had no choice but to escape. Most of them had no hope of becoming martial saint. They were just looking for opportunities. Now, they couldn't defeat the Medicine Sect Alliance. If they didn't leave, they would die. As the number of people from the Medicine Sect Alliance decreased, Zhang Xiaoru shouted, "Consort Ji, let's break through with all our strength. Otherwise, we will all be eliminated." The elimination of the Medicine Sect Alliance meant that they were weaker than the Medicine Sect Alliance. It would be a huge blow to the Medicine Sect Alliance. In the future, the number of people joining the Medicine Sect Alliance would decrease. Chao Jifei was helpless. She nodded and said, "I'll take out the shuttling divine blade. Follow me and break through." In the next moment, she took out a short blade. It flashed with light and was incomparably sharp. After she poured her power into it, it instantly killed the saints and ferocious beasts in front of her, opening up a path of survival. She quickly escaped. The others quickly followed. Suddenly, Venerable Yu laughed sinisterly. "Hee hee, you can't escape. Treasures, sacrifice your lives and keep them here." The ferocious beasts under his control suddenly self-destructed, creating a terrifying commotion. Chao Jifei and the others were stunned by the explosion. Puff puff! Some of the weaker saints had fallen, while the others had suffered heavy injuries. They quickly crushed their jade tablets and left. Only Chao Jifei, Zhang Xiaoru, Lai Yifeng, and a few others remained. Yao Isa, Zhu Jingming, and the others surrounded them. They had already lost the right to escape. "Chao Jifei, your apothecary alliance is destined to be a stumbling block for our Medicine Sect Alliance. Don't struggle anymore. Promise me that you'll be my woman. In the future, you'll be the wife of the 2 alliance masters. Why not?" Yao Yi looked at Chao Jifei from head to toe with an incomparably greedy expression. Zhang Xiaoru stood in front of Chao Jifei and replied, "Your Medicine Sect Alliance will definitely be eliminated." "Hee hee, you will be the first to be eliminated." Yao Isa sneered. He then shouted, "Eliminate them all." Chao Jifei, Zhang Xiaoru, and the others were helpless. Just as they were about to give up, a voice came from afar. "Who dares to eliminate my Medicine Sect Alliance?" Nether Warlord. Chapter 1529. His voice was like the sound of nature as it fell into Chao Jifei's ears. She shouted, "Everyone, don't be in a hurry to be eliminated. Focus on defense." The person who could turn the tide and create miracles was here. They would be fine. The members of the Medicine Sect Alliance launched an attack. First, they would force Chao Jifei and the others out of the game. However, before their attacks could land, 2 mountains came crashing down in their direction. These mountains had been uprooted and thrown at them. 2 one-eyed giants were striding towards them. Bang! Bang! The one-eyed giants' movements caused a huge commotion. Every step they took left a deep footprint in the ground. It was obvious how heavy they were. Yao Isa frowned and said, "The one who spoke wasn't a one-eyed giant. Are there other members of the Medicine Sect Alliance nearby?" "Look, it's Yang Wu. He's on the giant's shoulder." Zhu Jingming pointed at one of the one-eyed giants and shouted. Yao Isa shifted his gaze and saw an extraordinary young man standing on the giant's shoulder. His expression darkened. "Is he Yang Wu?" Take them down for me, Yang Wu said to Qin Shixi, Gongzhe, and the others. Aside from them, there were more than 100 sages following behind them. This force was still lacking if they wanted to compete with the sages of the Medicine Sect Alliance. We'll listen to our benefactor, Qin Shixi replied without hesitation. Thus, he led Gongzhe and the others towards the Medicine Sect Alliance. Some of the people who had followed them quietly left. They did not want to join the battle. Someone shouted, "The Medicine Sect Alliance's business is our business. Let's go and help." That's right. Let's help the Medicine Sect Alliance. Those are the members of the Medicine Sect Alliance. They're worth our time. Some of them weighed the pros and cons and decided to help. After all, they were all from different forces and were not afraid of offending someone they could not afford to offend. If they could not win, they could just retreat. With this new force, the Medicine Sect Alliance was in a passive position. Force them out first, Yao Isa ordered again. Since they had the advantage in numbers, it would not be difficult for them to block Yang Wu's group. First, they would force Chao Jifei and the others out of the game. Then, they would deal with Yang Wu's group. Block it with all your strength, Chao Jifei shouted. Their powers joined together and activated a defensive divine pearl to defend against the combined attacks of the Medicine Sect Alliance. You're not taking my words to heart, are you? Yang Wu mumbled to himself. He leaped over Gore and summoned his Overlord sword. He swung it in Yao Isa's direction. Slay demons. This was a move that he had created in his early years. After many years of practice, this move had become even more powerful. With one slash of the saber, all demons fell to their knees. A terrible blue blade appeared in the air, and Yao Isa was frightened. Block it! Block it! Yao Isa could feel the terror of this blade, and did not dare to block it. Let me do it! Beside him, a half-step into the heavenly ascension realm wielding a shield went up to block Yang Wu's attack, intending to block it. Pang! The blade fell and the shield was shattered. The half-step into Tongtian was cut in half. Blood splattered in the air. It was a tragic sight. After the half-step into Tongtian was killed, the power of the blade did not diminish. It continued to slash toward Yao Isa. He dodged like crazy, but the blade seemed to be chasing after him. He kept shouting, "Block it! Block it for me!" Dozens of saints used their powers at the same time to attack the blade. They forcibly shattered the power of the blade. When they tried to block the blade, Yang Wu landed next to Chao Jifei. "Are you guys okay?" Yang Wu looked at Chao Jifei and asked. Chao Jifei looked at Yang Wu, who was descending from the sky, and jumped into his arms without hesitation. She hugged him tightly and said, "You heartless man. You finally showed up." She actually started to cry. The Vice Alliance leader of the Apothecary Alliance, the Empress in everyone's eyes. It was rare to see a woman like this. Over the years, she had been under a lot of pressure. She had to carry the heavy responsibility of the Apothecary Alliance for her master, and she also had to cultivate and increase her apothecary level. It was not easy for her. Fortunately, Yang Wu had given her immortal liquid. A drop of immortal liquid had helped her increase her level. She had long since developed feelings for Yang Wu. However, she had always suppressed it. She did not get too close to Yang Wu, but she also did not distance herself from him. She always felt that she could not take that step. Yang Wu loved Yu deeply and went to the Purple Cloud Palace for her. News of this had long spread throughout the transcendent world. He was the idol of all young girls and the standard to pursue. Furthermore, he had other women. This was the reason why she did not want to take that step. With Chao Jifei's heroism, she had to be the main wife. Today, after they had been attacked by the Medicine Sect Alliance, their spirits had more or less collapsed. When Yang Wu appeared, they finally relaxed. This was why this scene had happened. Women were all made of water. No matter how strong a woman was, they were all made of water. She had always wanted to develop the Apothecary Alliance and strengthen it to fight against the Medicine Sect Alliance. In the end, they had been ambushed and caused so many people to leave. She was very upset. Yang Wu's body stiffened, then he stroked her hair and said, "Don't cry, don't cry. Many people are watching." His hardened heart was melted by Chao Jifei's cries. "You're all dead. Hurry up and kill him!" Yao Isa shouted. This was a good opportunity to kill Yang Wu and the others. He could not let it go. The others came back to their senses and prepared to attack Yang Wu with all their might. However, Gobi and Gore had already charged over. The two of them could control the rocks and continuously hit the saint. They were flustered and could not form a powerful collective attack. Yang Wu hugged Chao Jifei and said to Zhang Xiaoru and the others, "Come with me." In the next moment, his power enveloped them and brought them out of the encirclement. Once they were out of the encirclement, he could use his full strength to deal with Yao Isa and the others. "Damn it, the cooked duck is about to fly away. Hurry up and keep them here." Yao Isa was flustered and exasperated. "Isa, I think we should retreat first. I heard that Yang Wu's strength is unparalleled," Zhu Jingming said from the side. "How can we run away before fighting? We have the advantage in numbers. Why should we be afraid of them? Let's fight." Yao Isa replied firmly. None of the saints present were easy to deal with. Since they were able to enter the martial sage assembly, they naturally had extraordinary fighting strength. They were not afraid of the two Cyclops and Qin Shizi's group, and began to fight fiercely. Yao Isa had no lack of experts. Other than Venerable Yu, there was another half-step to heavenly arrival called Zhu Hongshui. His fighting strength was not inferior to Lai Feng's. In addition, there were some top saints. They all had powerful strength and still had a considerable advantage. Venerable Yu sounded his horn, attracting the ferocious beasts in the vicinity to charge at Prince Qin and the others. "I'll let you have a taste of the appetizer. The main course is waiting for you." Venerable Yu sat calmly on a lion beast and sneered. On the other side, Zhu Hongshui wore a red cloak and held a red tasseled spear like a warrior on the battlefield. He faced Gobi head-on. He dared to challenge a Cyclops, which proved that he was strong enough. However, Yao Isa's target was Yang Wu, not Qin Shizi and the others, nor the Cyclops. If he forced Yang Wu and Chao Jifei to retreat, he would have made a great contribution. Therefore, he sent a message to Zhu Hongshui, asking him to give up on Gobi and cooperate with the others to kill Yang Wu. Zhu Hongshui was very confident. After avoiding Gobi, he led the 5 of them to attack Yang Wu. "Let me see how strong the top 10 on the prediction list are." Zhu Hongshui shouted and smashed his spear in the air. A red fiery shadow rushed toward Yang Wu like a dragon. Zhu Hongshui was not an ordinary person since he could cultivate to this level. He was very ambitious and wanted to enter the top 100 on the martial sage ranking. Yang Wu was in the top 10 on the prediction list, but that was only a prediction. Whether they had the same fighting strength, they would only know after fighting. Zhu Hongshui was half-step to heavenly arrival, but he also had the fighting strength of a heavenly arrival. This was the reason why he was so confident. Yang Wu sent Chao Jifei and the others to a safe place. He turned around and waved his tyrant blade, blocking Zhu Hongshui's spear. Bang! Zhu Hongshui's spear was very strong, shaking Chao Jifei, Zhang Xiaoru, and the others. Lai Feng rushed out and shouted, "I'll fight him." Lai Feng also had the heart to charge forward. His goal was not to become a martial sage, but to reach the true Jade Moon Realm. If he broke through the Jade Moon Realm during the martial sage assembly, he would be teleported out and lose the qualifications to become a martial sage. However, he did not care. Those were just empty titles. Without waiting for him to rush out, Yang Wu pressed his hand on his shoulder and said, "Protect Ji Fei and the others. I'll go clean up the mess." Mess? Didn't they just start fighting? How could it be a mess? While everyone was asking questions, Yang Wu had already rushed out. In Yang Wu's eyes, this was indeed a mess. Zhu Hongshui and the other peak saints surrounded Yang Wu, pointing their spears at Yang Wu. Yang Wu, everyone says that you're unparalleled in alchemy, just like Xiang Dingtian. Let me see how strong you really are. When you see my strength, you'll be a dead man. Yang Wu replied. He then added, crush your jade tablets and leave. I really don't want to start a massacre. Listen, listen, listen. This is the guy in the top 10 of the prediction list? His tone is really big. Even if you're stronger than us, don't tell me we don't even have time to crush our jade tablets? What a joke. Zhu Hongshui laughed coldly. He believed that even if Yang Wu was a bit stronger than him, it wouldn't be by much. It seems you don't believe me. Then you can go on your way. The blade rose and fell. Pooh. Chapter 1530. Zhu Hongshui had never thought that he would die in the end world. With the jade tablet bestowed by the Guardian, he could teleport out of the end world at any time. Even if he met a god-level expert, he could still escape if he couldn't defeat them. Yang Wu was known as one of the top 10 martial saints and had the ability to fight Tong Tian. His strength was indeed powerful, but he wasn't weak either. He also had the battle prowess of Tong Tian. This was also the reason why he provoked Yang Wu. He wanted to test how big the gap was between him and the top 10 martial saints. In the end, because of his stupid provocation, he lost his life. He was definitely a tragic person. Yang Wu's attack was too fast. With a slash, he took his head. He and the people around him didn't even have the slightest reaction. When everyone reacted, Yang Wu already held Zhu Hongshui's head in his hand and said indifferently, I gave you a way to live, but you didn't want it. You just had to send yourself to death. You can't blame me. The people around instantly felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave, their bodies cold to the extreme. In the instant they were stunned, Yang Wu's overbearing blade moved again. Cold light flashed, and the blade energy was shocking. Several heads were chopped off. With Yang Wu's current strength, it would be difficult for anyone who wasn't a Tong Tian expert to exchange blows with him. Perhaps only the top 10 martial saints could make him have a desire to fight. Yao Isa had been paying attention to Yang Wu's situation. When he saw that Zhu Hongshui and the others were killed, he was so scared that he peed his pants. This, so strong, Yao Isa said with a trembling voice. He didn't care about the others and turned to flee. Space-breaking talisman. The method he used wasn't an increase pill, but a talisman. Talisman Dao was the specialty of the Dragon Tiger sect. Every talisman had an inconceivable ability. Yao Isa had a space-breaking talisman on him. He had always kept it for the most critical moment to escape. Now, he didn't hesitate to use it. It was also very correct. Yang Wu's strength was beyond his expectations. He was afraid that no one in front of him could stop him. If he didn't escape, only death would await him. Just when he thought that he could escape by using the space-breaking spell, a figure suddenly appeared beside him and grabbed him. Breaking through the air? You're too inexperienced to play in front of me. A voice that sounded like it came from the depths of hell rang in Yao Isa's ears, and he felt a chill run down his spine. The function of the space-breaking talisman was to allow people to escape through the void. A space-breaking talisman could enable him to escape dozens of miles away, and he could escape without leaving any aura behind. Therefore, it would be difficult for the enemy to catch up with him. Unfortunately, Yang Wu knew the void travel technique, and Yao Isa's space-breaking talisman was just child's play in front of him. Just as Yang Wu was about to capture Yao Isa, this fellow's reaction was especially fast. She directly crushed the jade card and left the end-world space. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly. If I had known, I would have killed him with a slap. I was too careless. Yang Wu returned to the battlefield and shouted, Your leader has already run away. Are you still going to stay and die? After saying that, he lifted Zhu Hongshui's head and threw it into the sky, directly shattering it. Bang! A pool of blood splattered, and the saints of the Medicine Sect Alliance were completely scared out of their wits. What a piece of trash! Venerable Yu cursed. He no longer launched the ferocious beast attack, and quietly retreated. Zhu Jingming also did not dare to stay. She immediately fled, and the others also quickly scattered like birds. The people of the Medicine Sect Alliance completely collapsed. Yang Wu did not start a massacre. It could be said that he was really generous. He still remembered what clan leader Xian Yuan said to him. When the martial sage assembly started, more powerful martial sages were needed. Facing the Thousand Saints assembly, sometimes there was no need to kill everyone. Killing Zhu Hongshui was because he had no other choice. Of course, he had never been merciful to his enemies. It depended on the situation. The disturbance was thus resolved. When Yang Wu returned to Chao Jifei's side once again, she had already returned to her original calm and collected appearance. Thank you, Yang Wu. If you had not come in time, we would have all been wiped out. Chao Jifei looked at Yang Wu gratefully. Zhang Xiaoru also said, Yang, Junior Master, thank you. He had originally wanted to call him Yang Wu directly, but after hesitating for a moment, he changed the way he addressed him. Yang Wu was his master's junior brother. In terms of seniority, Yang Wu was indeed his junior master. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, I am also a member of the Medicine Sect Alliance. Since I encountered you, I naturally could not sit by and do nothing. After a pause, he pointed in a direction and said, It is all thanks to this friend, Wang Mi, who told me that you were in danger. Otherwise, I would not have known that something had happened to you. Wang Mi rushed over and cupped his hands. I am Wang Mi of the Wang family of the Azure Sky Realm. I was lucky to see that the Medicine Sect Alliance was going to attack you. I also happened to meet Godly Medicine Master Yang Wu, so I informed him. Wang family of the Azure Sky Realm. I Chao Jifei will remember this. Chao Jifei cupped her hands at Wang Mi. Zhang Xiaoru also took a deep look at Wang Mi, committing him to memory. In the future, the Medicine Sect Alliance would definitely give the Wang family of the Azure Sky Realm some resources in the area of pills. Wang Mi was overjoyed. Thank you, Vice Alliance Leader Chao. We should be thanking you, Chao Jifei replied. All right, those who have pills on them, give him a few as thanks. We will talk about the future in the future, Yang Wu said from the side. Zhang Xiaoru also felt that this was the right thing to do, so he took out a few different divine pills and gave them to Wang Mi. Wang Mi declined for a while, but in the end, he accepted them happily. He had received a few divine pills just for sharing a piece of information. This reward was too generous. Qin Shixi's group also came to Yang Wu's side. When Qin Shixi saw Chao Jifei, he was instantly stunned. He blurted out, so beautiful. Chao Jifei glanced at Qin Shixi, a trace of disgust flashing through her beautiful eyes. She had met many suitors like him. What time was it now? How could he still have the time to pay attention to her beauty? If your highness likes her, I will make her your concubine, Gongzhe said from the side. Just as he finished speaking, Lai Yifeng's twin blades slashed at Gongzhe. Gongzhe reacted quickly and threw his meteor hammer out, blocking Lai Yifeng's attack. If you dare speak nonsense again, I will kill you, Lai Yifeng said coldly. Oh, how dare you speak to me like that? Do you want to die? Gongzhe raised his head and puffed out his chest. Gongzhe, don't speak nonsense. Qin Shixi stopped Gongzhe, then turned to Chao Jifei and cupped his hands. I am sorry, Fairy Chao. I didn't mean to offend you. I just couldn't help myself and spoke from the bottom of my heart. Please don't blame me. It had to be said that the second prince reacted quickly. He knew he had been rude and quickly apologized to save his image. Chao Jifei moved closer to Yang Wu and said, It doesn't matter if you spoke from the bottom of your heart or not. We don't know each other. She then turned to Yang Wu and said, Let's leave this place first. I want to go to Listening Bamboo Forest. You guys can come with me, Yang Wu replied. Chao Jifei and Zhang Xiaoru didn't have any objections, so the others didn't either. They had all become frightened birds at the twang of a bow. If they could stay with Yang Wu, they would be able to stay in the End World for a longer period of time. Listening Bamboo Forest wasn't too far from their current location. They would only need half a day to get there. There were two people sitting on Gobi and Gore's shoulders. They were respectively Yang Wu and Chao Jifei. Qin Shixi's eyes dimmed when he saw this scene. He had finally met a woman he fell in love with at first sight, but she turned out to be his benefactor's woman. He felt very upset. Gongzhi transmitted his voice to Qin Shixi. "Your Highness, have you taken a fancy to that fairy Chao?" Qin Shixi glared fiercely at Gongzhi. This guy really liked to poke at his sore spot. Gongzhi continued, "A fair and graceful woman is a good match for a gentleman. Although your Highness already has many consorts, Fairy Chao's temperament is even better. Moreover, I can see that her face is round and her forehead is full. She is the type of woman who will bring good fortune to her husband. If you marry her, she will definitely help your Highness become the Emperor of the Great Qin. She also has the fate of being the mother of the world." It had to be said that when Gongzhi became serious, he could speak clearly and logically. Qin Shixi's heart was already moved. When he heard Gongzhi's words, his heart itched even more. He replied, "That's the woman our benefactor likes. Don't speak carelessly." "Hee, I don't think so. It's that fairy Chao who likes godly apothecary Yang Wu. Yang Wu doesn't seem to have fallen in love with her yet. Your Highness, you still have a chance." Gongzhi laughed. Then he continued, "Good women are afraid of pestering men. Your Highness, I have high hopes for you." Qin Shixi sighed softly in his heart. "If that's the case, then I'll give it a try." Their conversation fell into Yang Wu's ears. Yang Wu pretended not to hear. There were countless people who liked to pursue Chao Jifei. There was nothing wrong with Qin Shixi taking a fancy to her. However, he still felt uncomfortable in his heart. He thought to himself, "Could it be that I also like her?" Yang Wu shook his head and stopped thinking about it. On the Gobi's shoulder, Chao Jifei glanced at Yang Wu from time to time. She cursed in her heart, "This blockhead still doesn't understand my heart? Or is it that he doesn't like my type?" For a moment, her emotions were in a mess. Unknowingly, they had arrived at the periphery of the listening forest bamboo. There were several major races entrenched in the periphery of the listening forest bamboo. The direction Yang Wu's group was heading in was controlled by the Wood Tribe. The Wood Tribe was a strange creature that looked like wood. They could transform into trees or humans and absorb the mystical energy of heaven and earth, as well as earth and water. The Wood Tribe blocked the periphery of the listening forest bamboo. Anyone who wanted to approach would have to ask for their permission first. When Yang Wu's group approached, towering trees blocked their path. One of the trees spoke in human language. "Cyclops tribe, what are you doing here? Scram back to your territory." Although the Wood Tribe was powerful, they were helpless against the Cyclops tribe. Their bodies were too tough for the Wood Tribe to harm. "Do you think we want to come? It's Master Yang Wu who wants to go to the listening forest bamboo. Hurry up and leave." "Don't block the way," Gregor replied forcefully. Don't you know the rules here? Anyone who wants to go in can. You just have to take out something that our tribe is satisfied with. You dare to take our master's things? Do you want to die?" Chapter 1531. The Cyclops giants weren't afraid of the Wood Tribe. If the Wood Tribe dared to ask for a toll, they wouldn't be happy. "Are you trying to break our rules? This isn't your giant tribe's nest." The Wood Tribe that had turned into a tree replied, "What bullshit rules are you talking about? You're just trying to take it by force. I'll open the way for Grandmaster Yang Wu." Gore roared and prepared to attack the trees in front of him. Yang Wu patted him and said, "Don't be impulsive. If you can resolve this peacefully, then do so. Violence is wrong." Gore was calmed down, but his eyes were still fixed on the Wood Tribe in front of him. Yang Wu took out a few drops of Thunder God elixir and said, "I have some Thunder God elixir here. Can you let us pass?" Whoosh whoosh. The trees began to sway, and the wood tribe revealed greedy expressions. The wood tribe that had just spoken said, "You can go alone, but they have to pay you separately." Yang Wu smiled and said, "Thunder God Elixir is a divine item. Its value is immeasurable. Don't be too greedy. It should be enough for you to make way. There's too little Thunder God Elixir. We're already giving the giant's face by letting you pass. Otherwise, don't even think about getting close to the bamboo forest." Gobi and Gore were infuriated. If it wasn't for Yang Wu holding them back, they would have immediately charged in. However, if they really did charge in, they might not be able to get away with it. It wouldn't be easy for the two of them to fight against so many Wood Tribe members. Yang Wu calmly asked, "Is there really no room for discussion?" At this time, Chao Jifei said, "Yang Wu, you go in first. We'll think of a way." Qin Shitzi also said, "That's right. Benefactor, you don't need to worry about us. We'll talk to them separately." After a pause, he added, "I have wood spirit essence here. It should be able to help Fairy Chow enter." After saying this, he took out a green crystal. An incomparably dense life force emitted from it. It was the wood spirit essence, which was the favorite item of Wood Tribe members. The trees started to shake again. Some of the tree vines even extended towards Crown Prince Qin, trying to snatch the wood spirit essence. Qin Shitzi quickly put it away and said, "Is it enough for me to go with her?" The wooden puppet replied, "Yes, it's enough for the two of you to pass." Crown Prince Qin had a proud smile on his face. He looked at Chao Jifei and said, "Fairy Chow, let's go to the bamboo forest together." After a pause, he looked at Yang Wu and said, "Benefactor, let's go in together." Flaunting, naked flaunting. Qin was a little too complacent. The people next to him also saw it clearly, but no one said anything. These were all things that were out in the open, and Qin Shitzi's behavior was not considered excessive. How could they be angry for Yang Wu? "I'm not familiar with you. If you want to go in by yourself." "I'll go in with Yang Wu," Chao Jifei said coldly. Crown Prince Qin's smile instantly froze. It wasn't easy to enter the bamboo forest. Chao Jifei actually refused his good intentions in front of everyone. She didn't give him any face at all. However, Chao Jifei's status was not inferior to his, the second prince. He could only swallow his anger and said politely, "Fairy Chow, I only have good intentions. We're not familiar with each other. I don't want to accept your good intentions." Chao Jifei still refused without any trace of politeness. Crown Prince Qin only felt his face burning uncomfortably. Gongzhi hurriedly said, "Fairy Chow, this isn't good. Our second prince is the great Qin, that's enough. Don't make a fool of yourself. Fairy Chow might have some misunderstandings about me. I believe this misunderstanding will slowly disappear." Crown Prince Qin stopped Gongzhi from speaking nonsense. Chao Jifei rolled her eyes. She felt that Crown Prince Qin was too pretentious. She didn't have a good impression of this person. "Do you still want to go to the bamboo forest?" The wooden puppet's voice sounded again. Crown Prince Qin replied, "I'll use this wood essence in exchange for our group of people." He pointed at the group of people behind him. They were all from the Great Qin Empire. 5 pieces of wood essence is enough. The wooden puppet said again, "I only have 1. If you don't want to let me in, then forget it." Crown Prince Qin was also an expert negotiator. He knew how tempting the wood essence was to the Wood Clan. Before he came in, he already had a plan in mind. This wood spirit essence was prepared for the Wood Clan. As expected, the Wood Clan hesitated and said, "All right. Only this few people can enter. The others can't enter even if they want to." Crown Prince Qin nodded. Then, he cupped his hands towards Yang Wu and said, "Benefactor, I'll go first. We'll wait for you inside." With that, he led the group into the forest. The wood golems quietly moved aside to let them pass. Gu'er scolded, "What an ungrateful wretch." Gubai said, "You still call us benefactor. What a hypocrite." The two of them were quite straightforward. Crown Prince Qin and his group hadn't even left yet and they already said that. They didn't give them any face at all. Crown Prince Qin's expression was extremely ugly. He clenched his fists and shouted in his heart, I'll endure, I'll endure. I must break free from Yang Wu's influence on me. I must become stronger so that I can control everything. Not only will I be able to obtain the throne, but Chao Jifei will also look at me in a new light. After Crown Prince Qin and his group left, the Wood Clan once again blocked the path of Yang Wu and his group. Do you still want to go in? The wooden puppet asked again. Yang Wu replied, Of course we're going in. Since you don't want my thunder essence, then I can only go in another way. Hee, if you want to go in another way, then you still have to follow the rules. The other clans are much more ruthless than us. You better think carefully. The wooden puppet coldly laughed. After pausing for a bit, it said, How about this, if you give me the thunder essence, I'll allow the two of you to come in. Everyone else will have to pay a toll. You heard wrong. I only said to go in another way, not in another direction. Yang Wu laughed. A deep blue flame appeared in his palm. He waved it in the direction of the wooden puppet and said, Blue Enchantress, open the way for me. In the next moment, the deep blue flame turned into a black tortoise that burned the wooden puppet in front of them. Pung pung. This black tortoise became bigger and bigger, turning into a sea of fire. The raging flames were terrifying. The Wood Clan immediately panicked. They were afraid of fire the most, but normal flames couldn't hurt them. Otherwise, any fire chi saint would be able to pass through. They were afraid of high-level flames, but Yang Wu's blue enchantress was a god flame. How could they resist it? Damn human, you dare to set fire. You won't have a good death. We have to kill him. If we don't give him a way out, everyone around him will die too. This is a god flame. I can't take it anymore. These wooden puppets changed into their human forms and started to curse. Some of the wooden puppets wanted to attack Yang Wu, but they couldn't do it at all. Blue Enchantress's flames were too terrifying. They couldn't stop it at all. Some of the wooden puppets were touched by the flames and were instantly burned to ashes. The other wooden puppets were so scared that they ran away as fast as they could. The wooden puppets weren't useless. They still wanted to resist. They thought that as long as they killed Yang Wu, the flames would be extinguished. Unfortunately, their attacks couldn't break through Blue Enchantress's flames. The raging sea of fire made them despair. Prince Qin and the others who were allowed to pass through the Wood Clan's blockade were all frightened by the commotion. That's a god flame. A fire chi saint in Prince Qin's group exclaimed. This is our benefactor's flame. Is he crazy? He even burned the Wood Clan's territory. Prince Qin exclaimed. Your Highness, you don't have to call him benefactor anymore. Your status is so honorable. Just call him Yang Wu from now on. He clearly has the ability, yet he waited for us to leave before doing so. That's too unkind of him. Moreover, his actions will incur public anger. Another person said from the side. That's right. Let's go in quickly. There's still a test ahead. If we pass the test and obtain the inheritance of the listening bamboo forest, Your Highness's strength will rise to another level. There's no need to rely on him. These people were still on Prince Qin's side. Just now, Chao Jifei didn't give Prince Qin any face. Even Yang Wu wasn't happy. They felt that Yang Wu clearly had the ability, so why didn't he help them? He actually made their second prince feel wronged, so they felt wronged too. Let's go. Prince Qin didn't waste any more time and quickly rushed towards the location of the test. I want to obtain the inheritance of the listening bamboo forest. Behind them, with Blue Yaoji leading the way, Yang Wu walked in with the group behind him. Grandmaster Yang Wu is really domineering. Gu'er was convinced. Grandmaster Yang Wu, please take me as your follower. I will definitely listen to you. Gubai was about to kneel down. Yang Wu's methods were too domineering. He destroyed the Wood Clan without saying anything. He was even more direct than the Cyclops clan. Yang Wu smiled and said, "Think about it first. If you become my follower, you'll have to leave with me. I've wanted to go out and take a look for a long time, but I don't know if I can." Gu Bai said worriedly. Gu Er also said, "I also want to go out, but I'm afraid that the people outside won't treat us well. They'll kill us and take our hearts." They were in the apocalypse and knew that there was a very wide world outside, but they had never been able to go out. They longed to go out, but they also longed to meet a master who could protect them. Yang Wu was the best choice. Yang Wu smiled and said, "You guys are too big. You'll definitely attract attention if you go out. If you really want to go out, I'll have to try to find out." "Many thanks, Master." Gu Bai quickly knelt down. Guer also knelt down and said, "Greetings, Master." The two Cyclops giants submitted just like that. The people behind Yang Wu were shocked. The Cyclops kneeling down was like an earthquake. It was indeed very scary. When the Cyclops giants announced that they were submitting to Yang Wu, they looked at Yang Wu with even more respect. Perhaps this was the demeanor of someone in a high position. Every word and action could easily subdue people. It wasn't something an ordinary person could do. Chapter 1532. Listening Bamboo Forest. This was a wondrous place. According to legends, it was a place of inheritance and also a place of enlightenment. Everyone who entered Listening Bamboo Forest would more or less gain something. This was also the reason why many saints wanted to rush here. Unfortunately, although there were many saints here, there were very few who could enter the Listening Bamboo Forest. Apart from some foreign race creatures guarding the perimeter, one still needed to pass a test to enter Listening Bamboo Forest. It was quite good if 10 out of 10,000 people could enter Listening Bamboo Forest. This meant that there was only a 1 in 1,000 chance. Saints who could enter the end world space were all extraordinary people. Among them, only 1 in 1,000 people could enter the forest. It was clear that this test wasn't that easy to pass. Yang Wu came in with a group of people behind him. Most of them were unrelated to Yang Wu, but they helped the Alchemist Alliance. Yang Wu had to accept this favor. Bringing them in could be considered returning the favor. Next, it would depend on each person's fortune. In front of them, there was a verdant bamboo forest. The bamboo forest was swaying slightly, as if there was a moving bamboo sound, causing people to feel tranquil and relaxed. There was a river in front of the bamboo forest. The river water flowed slowly without rushing, but who knew that this river was a dangerous place to test them? Ahead, Qin Shitzi and the others stopped. Their faces revealed fear. No one dared to rush over. No, it should be said that those who rushed over were all dead. Someone asked curiously, "Why don't you guys go over?" Someone in front replied, "Dead, they're all dead. This is a terrifying place." "What's dead?" Someone asked. "Those who want to enter Listening Bamboo Forest, look, those are their corpses. They're all floating on top," someone said. Everyone looked over and saw corpses floating on the surface of the calm river. It was a horrifying sight. Yang Wu asked, "What's going on?" Qin Shitzi replied, "This is Listening Bamboo's test. As long as you cross the river, you pass the test. If you can't, you'll never be able to enter Listening Bamboo Forest." Can't even cross a river? I don't believe it. Let me try." Someone in the crowd behind Yang Wu impatiently shouted, and then rode a mount towards the bamboo forest. This person was riding a tiger demon. He wore a saint robe and held a copper mace in his hand. His aura was quite ferocious. He was a saint at the 7th level of the celestial rune realm. His level wasn't low. Everyone's gaze fell on him. They wanted to see how he would cross the river and what dangers there were in the river. Just as he was flying in the air, a bamboo shadow suddenly whipped towards him from the bamboo forest. The speed of this bamboo shadow was extremely fast. It was as if a peerless expert was making a move. It arrived in the blink of an eye, making it impossible to guard against. "You want to deal with me with mere bamboo? Break for me!" The saint shouted and swung his mace towards the bamboo shadow. Bang! The saint's strength was very strong. When the mace hit the bamboo shadow, it immediately made a dull sound. He also felt that the bamboo shadow's power was extremely shocking. He and his mount were pushed back. "Haha, this little power can't stop me." The man laughed wildly and continued to attack. The next moment, 3 bamboo shadows were thrown at him at the same time. That person entered his strongest battle state. His body erupted with boundless golden light as he attacked the 3 bamboo shadows. Army Breaker. The bronze mace split into 3 parts, and the 3 beams of dark light clashed with the bamboo shadow. He thought that the power of the 3 bamboo shadows would be the same as before. He didn't expect that the power of the 3 bamboo shadows would be more than 3 times stronger than before. One of the bamboo shadows hit him, instantly causing him to vomit blood and fly backward. The mount under him couldn't withstand the impact and was sent rolling. The bamboo shadow continued to chase him and hit his head. He was scared out of his wits and ran for his life. However, the bamboo shadow didn't have any intention of letting him go. It increased its speed and hit him and his mount hard into the river. Bang! A wave of thousands of feet high was stirred up in the river. Drops of blood scattered. When the river calmed down, there were 2 more saint corpses in the river. The bamboo shadows killed people. This was the test. The saints on the riverside instantly felt cold. Even the high-level saints couldn't avoid the bamboo shadows. Most of them would have to stop here. Someone said, "Only martial saints can pass this test. It's difficult for non-martial saints to pass this test." Someone else said, "It's also possible if you have the ability to fight above your level." Some saints simply turned around and left. They didn't have the confidence to pass this test. It was better to leave early to avoid wasting time. There were also some who were unconvinced and pulled a few companions to pass the test together. However, there were many of them and the number of bamboo shadows also increased. The method of teaming up to pass the test was completely ineffective. Some people were killed on the spot. Some people shattered their jade tablets and fled. One person was lucky enough to escape. He wasn't killed or teleported out. At this moment, everyone understood the basic situation of this test. If you had the ability to fight above your level, there was a chance for you to pass the test. Not everyone would be killed by the bamboo shadows. "I'll pass," Lai Yifeng said. He made a prompt decision and rushed over. "Senior brother Lai, be careful," Chao Jifei reminded him. This half-step heavenly arrival realm cultivator was very powerful. The bamboo shadows were even more powerful and there were more of them. Lai Yifeng observed for a long time. He planned to rush over in one go. Double Dragon Slash. All of Lai Yifeng's power gathered on his twin swords. The power of the stars fell from the sky. The twin swords looked like dragons as they slashed out fiercely. When the shocking power exploded, the bamboo shadows were all shattered. At this moment, Lai Yifeng exploded with his fastest speed. He rushed over the barrier of the river and landed in the bamboo forest. Lai Yifeng had also become the first person to pass the test among this group of people. Everyone's eyes lit up. They finally saw hope. Not everyone would be killed. As long as they were strong enough and grasped the opportunity, they could still pass. Thus, another half-step heavenly arrival realm cultivator rushed over. In the end, the half-step heavenly arrival realm cultivator was violently beaten by the bamboo shadows. He hurriedly retreated. There were a few more bamboo marks on his body. Even his saint robe was torn. He casually cursed, "This stupid bamboo forest is too strange." He didn't waste any more time and left. After that, some people left, while others continued to think of ways to pass the test. Qin Shixi didn't want to be left behind. He decided to pass the test himself. Gongzhi hurriedly said, "Your Highness, I'll go with you." Qin Shixi hurriedly waved his hand. "We'll split up." He was too afraid that Gongzhi would drop the ball at the crucial moment. This guy had never been very reliable. "No, I have to protect your Highness," Gongzhi said firmly. You don't even listen to my orders? Either you go first or I go first. Your Highness, this is my duty. While they were arguing, Chao Jifei said to Yang Wu, I want to try. I'll go with you, Yang Wu said naturally. Okay. Chao Jifei didn't pretend to be pretentious at all and agreed on the spot. Then, Yang Wu and Chao Jifei passed the test at the same time. Everyone's gaze fell on them. The man was extraordinarily handsome, and the woman was beautiful and elegant. The two of them had extraordinary temperaments and were very compatible. No matter how one looked at them, they were the most perfect pair. Qin Shixi's eyes were filled with jealousy and anger. He couldn't help but scold Gongzhi. You piece of trash, stop bothering me. Qin Shixi definitely couldn't help but scold someone, and it was so unpleasant to hear. Gongzhi's expression stiffened. A forced smile appeared on his face. Your Highness, stop talking. If you don't listen to my orders, hurry up and get lost, Qin Shixi said impatiently. This time, Gongzhi was completely speechless. He could be said to be sincere and devoted to Qin Shixi, but he was also a person with dignity. Being scolded in public really made him feel bad. In front of them, Yang Wu and Chao Jifei were attacked by the bamboo shadows. Don't be nervous. Yang Wu protected Chao Jifei by his side and said softly. A protective shield appeared around them. Black tortoise armor. The range of the armor could be big or small. It wasn't difficult to cover the two of them. Bang bang. The bamboo shadows were like a storm as they hit Yang Wu's black tortoise armor. There were muffled sounds. The power of the bamboo shadows could kill high-level saints and saints, but when they fell on Yang Wu's black tortoise armor, they were directly deflected. They couldn't break Yang Wu's defensive armor at all. The bamboo shadows were getting denser and denser, and their power was getting stronger and stronger. However, Yang Wu was still like a rock. He moved forward, ignoring the bamboo shadows' attacks. The people on the shore were dumbfounded. That works! That's amazing! His defensive power is so strong that the bamboo shadows can't touch Yang Wu at all. You're too naive. If Lord Yang Wu isn't strong enough, the defensive armor will be smashed to pieces. The test that is extremely difficult for us can really be ignored by these monsters. Yang Wu smoothly landed on the other side of the river with Chao Jifei. All the bamboo shadows disappeared. As long as they crossed the river, the bamboo shadows would no longer attack. At that moment, a figure also rushed to the other side. It was Prince Qin. He didn't want all the limelight to be overshadowed by Yang Wu. If that happened, he would be further and further away from Chao Jifei. The bamboo shadows appeared again and attacked him angrily. I won't lose to him. I won't. Prince Qin roared in his heart. He pulled out his sword and slashed. Birth of the Yellow Dragon. With a slash of his sword, a terrifying yellow dragon appeared and directly crushed these bamboo shadows. Boom boom boom. A series of fierce explosions rang out. It was like a yellow dragon breaking through bamboo, crushing everything in its path. It was quite amazing. Prince Qin also succeeded with a slash of the sword. Chapter 1533. As the second prince of the Great Qin Empire, Qin Shixi was a key candidate to be groomed. His abilities were not inferior to any of the prodigies in the transcendent world. He had always been humble because Yang Wu was much stronger than him and had even saved his life. He wanted to be courteous and tried to pull Yang Wu into his camp. Now, for the woman he fancied, how could he keep a low profile? He was in the level 7 Starline realm, but he could unleash the power of a level 10 Starline realm cultivator. This was his innate ability. After Qin Shixi landed on the ground, he looked in the direction of Chao Jifei. Unfortunately, Chao Jifei was already following Yang Wu and did not even look at him. This made him furious. He swore, I will have you. After seeing Qin Shixi rush over, others followed suit. Those who entered the bamboo forest would reap great reward. Those who failed would be eliminated. Those who were lucky could even escape unscathed. As more and more people were eliminated, a few managed to pass. For example, Zhang Xiaoru and Gong Zhe both succeeded. Zhang Xiaoru was Xiang Dingtian's first disciple. Xiang Dingtian was known to be unparalleled in pill cultivation. How could his first disciple be weak? Gong Zhe seemed to be brave, but his strength was not ordinary. It was reasonable that he could pass. There were also a few who passed. These people were all prodigies of the martial way. Some of them even had the qualifications to become martial sages. Listening bamboo forest, this was a dense bamboo forest. Looking around, they didn't find anything special. When they walked in, they also didn't find anything unusual. There was no inheritance or comprehension of the power that they were looking forward to. They could not help but wonder if they had been cheated. Chao Jifei asked Yang Wu, "Did you discover anything?" Yang Wu shook his head and said, "I haven't found anything for the time being, but I think this place is really extraordinary." He wanted to open his soul eye to take a look, but hesitated and did not do so. "Let's take a look first." The others did not crowd together. Instead, they split up to search for their own opportunities. The bamboo forest was huge. In a few turns, it was easy to fall into it and not find anyone else. For example, the first Rift Peak, who had just entered, was nowhere to be found. Furthermore, he could no longer sense his aura. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Lord Qin didn't want to see Chao Jifei and Yang Wu together, so he chose a direction and left. He wanted to find his own opportunity. Yang Wu, on the other hand, had been holding Chao Jifei's hand ever since they entered the bamboo forest, and had never separated from her. His main purpose was to protect her in case there was any danger. His reaction was faster and he didn't have any dirty thoughts. Chao Jifei did not feel uncomfortable at all. She felt very sweet and happy. She wanted to continue like this. As they walked, they got separated from the others. They also began to discover some extraordinary aspects of this bamboo forest. There were several thousand-year-old bamboos that exuded the fragrance of bamboo. This was definitely sacred bamboo. If taken, it could be used to make flutes, and other musical instruments. It would definitely be a top-notch material. In addition, there were sparkling and translucent dewdrops on the bamboo leaf. These dewdrops were suffused with a rich vitality. It was as if a single drop could revive a person. Chao Jifei was pleasantly surprised. Thousand-year bamboo dew. The thousand-year bamboo dew was a type of sacred dew. It had a very powerful healing effect, comparable to the spring of life. It could be applied externally or taken internally. It was rare. This dew was formed by the condensation of the essence of heaven and earth, and the liquid excreted by the thousand-year bamboo. It is indeed the thousand-year bamboo dew. Yang Wu nodded. There was quite a lot of thousand-year bamboo dew here. Every single bamboo had several drops. It would be a great harvest to collect them all. Especially in this dangerous space, a single drop of thousand-year bamboo dew could save a life. Chao Jifei took out a jade bottle and carefully collected the bamboo dew. She looked at Yang Wu and said, "You should collect them too. You can collect them." Yang Wu replied. He continued to look at the bamboo around him and opened his soul eye. The soul eye could see through all nothingness and could discover any strange place. Sure enough, after he opened his soul eye, he immediately discovered something. There was an invisible force twining around the bamboo forest. This invisible force didn't have any lethality, but it contained the meaning of martial arts. He instantly whispered, "Is this a divine palace?" Chao Jifei was somewhat puzzled. She asked, "What divine palace?" Yang Wu replied, "A divine palace born from the 9 suns, boundary." Chao Jifei's expression changed. "Then isn't this place very dangerous?" Yang Wu shook his head and said, "There is no danger in this place. The divine chains of this divine palace are not a killing force, but a life force divine chain. The power of each divine chain represented the martial path that the warrior cultivated. This place gave birth to bamboo and thousand-year bamboo dew, which meant that this divine palace contained the martial intent of life. Thinking of this, Yang Wu became excited. His Tao of life and death had not been able to take a step forward. It was entirely because his comprehension of the Tao of life was limited. If he could complete the Tao of life in this place, then his Tao of life and death would be able to rise to another level. Then did you find the inheritance of this place? Chao Jifei asked again. Yang Wu's third eye was too monstrous. He must have seen something that she couldn't. Yang Wu smiled and said, I can look for it. He pulled Chao Jifei and continued to go deeper. The center of the divine palace was the place of inheritance. The so-called inheritance was actually the mystery of the divine chains. If one could obtain the approval of the divine chains, then they could obtain the inheritance. Perhaps the greatest inheritance here was the Tao of life. Yang Wu continued to go deeper with Chao Jifei. When he was about to reach the center, he suddenly saw a young man sitting cross-legged in a corner with a saber between his knees. If Yang Wu hadn't opened his soul eye, then he really wouldn't have discovered his existence. This young man had actually become one with the heavens and earth. Yang Wu deliberately slowed down his pace and took Chao Jifei around, avoiding as much as possible and not disturbing the young man's enlightenment. However, Chao Jifei didn't notice. She asked Yang Wu, "What's wrong?" Yang Wu said with a sound transmission, "Someone is comprehending the Tao. Don't talk." Unfortunately, his reminder was too late. Chao Jifei's voice had already interrupted the young man's enlightenment. The young man opened his eyes and two blade-like beams of power shot in the direction of Yang Wu and Chao Jifei. A formless killing intent instantly spread out. Yang Wu hurriedly said, "We're just passing by. We didn't mean to disturb you. Sorry." The young man didn't speak. A formless saber chi swept up and slashed toward Yang Wu and Chao Jifei. Chao Jifei only just noticed the person in front of them. She frowned and said, "It's Xiezhen. He's actually here." Xiezhen of the Temple of Immortality, ranked second on the predicted martial sage list. Yang Wu stood in front of Chao Jifei. He reached out his hand and grabbed the formless saber chi, instantly crushing it. Yang Wu felt that the power of the saber chi was quite extraordinary. It was even stronger than that of many peak sages. This was only a trace of the opponent's power. It could be seen how powerful he was. "Take my saber. If you don't die, I'll let you go." Xiezhen was still sitting cross-legged on the ground. He raised his hand and slashed toward Yang Wu and Chao Jifei. He used his hand as a saber. A solid saber light slashed toward Yang Wu. This saber light seemed to have attracted the power of the surroundings. At first, it wasn't very strong. However, the closer it got to Yang Wu, the more majestic and powerful the saber light became. By the time it was in front of Yang Wu, the power of the saber light was more than 10 times stronger than when it had just been released. The longevity saber. This was Xiezhen's best move. This saber strike only contained 20% or 20% of his power. Yang Wu felt that this saber strike was full of martial arts intent. Its lethality wasn't something that an ordinary half-step to heavenly arrival could block. It was close to the power of heavenly arrival. Interesting. A smile appeared on Yang Wu's face as he faced the incoming saber light head-on. The two saber lights collided fiercely. In an instant, a shocking saber chi exploded and swept toward the bamboo. The powerful saber light couldn't destroy the bamboo. With the power of the divine chains, the bamboo wouldn't be destroyed easily. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the power to attack those who crossed the river. After all the power dissipated, Yang Wu was safe and sound. He didn't even move from his original spot. Finally, he attracted Xiezhen's attention. "Who are you?" "Yang Wu of the battle clans, Yang Wu of the Yang family," Yang Wu replied calmly. He could sense that the young man in front of him was a powerful opponent. He was worthy of his name. "So it's you. You didn't let me down." Xiezhen raised his eyebrows. After a pause, he said, "This matter is over. You can leave." Next time we meet, we'll fight. Yang Wu nodded. He pulled Chao Jifei and continued to walk inside. This place had the power of the divine chains. Every place was different. Without special abilities, it wasn't easy to get close to the central area of the divine palace. It was already amazing that Xiezhen could reach this place. Xiezhen's strength is terrifying. Are you a match for him? Chao Jifei asked Yang Wu. It's hard to say. We'll only know after we fight, Yang Wu replied. I'm sorry. If I didn't speak carelessly, I wouldn't have made a strong enemy for you. It's not a big deal. What's going to come will come. Tell me more about him. Yang Wu didn't know much about Xiezhen. To be exact, he didn't know anything about the people on the martial saint ranking list. It wasn't that he was arrogant. It was just that his vision was no longer limited to the transcendent world. He had already set his mind on the divine realm. He was going to head there to find Ziyuyu Yangwen, his master, and Little He. There were many things that were worth his time. The geniuses and experts there were there. That was the place he yearned for. Everything in the transcendent world was just a stumbling block for him to conquer. His ambition was huge. Chapter 1534. In the center of the bamboo forest, the old bamboos were even greener and older. Moreover, there was a dense vitality surrounding the area, injecting life into the old bamboos. Yang Wu discovered a strange scene here. There was actually a green pool in the center of this place. This is a pool of bamboo dew? Chao Jifei was speechless. Yang Wu said, This isn't bamboo dew. It's the spring of life. It should be called the bamboo of life. Look, there's a stream over there. Chao Jifei pointed in another direction. Yang Wu looked over and saw that the stream was becoming smaller and smaller, slowly gathering at the center of the pool. The water of the stream was originally turbid, but after pouring into the pool, it quickly turned into green spring water. No one could see this process clearly. Only his soul could see it clearly. This was the power of the divine chains filtering out the turbid water. In addition, he discovered that the source of this stream was the river they had just crossed. It definitely flowed in from there. Otherwise, the water wouldn't have contained holy qi or traces of death qi. From death to life, this was the Tao of life. Chao Jifei wanted to collect the bamboo of life, but she was stopped by Yang Wu. Don't act recklessly. The power of the divine chains will kill you. Didn't you say that these divine chains weren't dangerous? The surrounding divine chains are not dangerous, but the divine chains over there contain great danger. Even if a deity were to approach, the only thing that awaits them would be death. Yang Wu said with certainty. This time, Chao Jifei didn't dare to act rashly. Jifei, do you hear the sound of bamboo? Yang Wu suddenly changed the topic. Chao Jifei was stunned. I don't hear it. There's no wind here. How can there be the sound of bamboo? Calm your mind. Sit over there and listen carefully. You'll definitely hear it. Yang Wu pointed to a corner. There were several old bamboos in that direction. There was also an empty space where they could sit. Chao Jifei didn't question Yang Wu's words. She walked to the side and sat down cross-legged. She began to concentrate and calm her qi, entering a state of meditation. Chao Jifei was originally someone with astonishing comprehension ability. Her martial talent was not weak, but it was covered up by the Tao of alchemy. When she entered the state, the faint sound of bamboo could be heard in the divine court. This bamboo sound was very rhythmic, and it was difficult to extricate oneself from it. Chao Jifei seemed to see a world full of vitality, and this world was full of all kinds of flowers, plants, and trees. All of them were heavenly materials. As an alchemist, this was her favorite medicinal garden. She took a deep breath, and then happily swam in this world. She felt the life of these herbs, and felt their happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. This was a wonderful concept that she had never felt before. To an alchemist like her, being able to understand the bits and pieces of emotions, of every kind of medicinal herb would be of great benefit to her alchemy. This was what she had comprehended from the bamboo sound. As for how much she could comprehend, it would be up to her luck. Seeing that Chao Jifei had entered the state, Yang Wu also began to look for his opportunity. Before that, he released a few puppets and began to guard the surroundings. This was the central area of the bamboo forest. Ordinary people couldn't find this place at all. The divine chains blocked everyone's vision and senses. Only people like him, who had different pupils, could discover this place was different. But one could never be too careful. He had to be prepared. The puppets he had released were all very powerful. He had brought them out from the divine firmament battlefield. He had replaced his original control over them and made them work for him. After doing all this, Yang Wu began to observe the power of the divine chains beside the pool and activated his Tao of life and death. Regarding the comprehension of the Tao of life, he merely scratched the surface. It was not as deep as his understanding of the Tao of death. Now that there was an opportunity in front of him, he would definitely not let it go. With some superficial foundation of the Tao of life, he quickly sensed the way the divine chains flowed and began to comprehend the profundities of the Tao of life. This bamboo forest was a spiritual object born of the Tao of life. It contained the superficial power of the Tao of life, so it was beneficial to be able to hear the bamboo sound. Others might only be able to hear the faint sound of the bamboo, but after Yang Wu entered the state, he heard the sound of bamboos growing. It was as if he could see the bamboos growing crazily. He could see their radiant vitality, and he could see their appearance when they broke out of the ground. The power of vitality was absorbing the heaven and earth mystic chi and the essence of heaven and earth. It gathered in one body and condensed into a spring of life, which could then sprout and grow. The power of the pool was transformed bit by bit through the power emitted by the sage corpse. Teacher died and was reborn after death. The two types of power were constantly changing, both on a thin line. Yang Wu absorbed the vitality power around him and imagined himself as a seed. After the vitality power gathered, his vitality grew stronger and stronger until it finally broke out of the ground. After it broke out of the ground, it needed to absorb even more power to continue growing. The black and white lotus in his temple appeared. The white side crazily absorbed the vitality here, and even the power of the divine chains was pulled. The power of the divine chains was a divine law condensed from the power of martial arts. Obtaining the power of the divine chains was equivalent to comprehending the power of martial arts in this world. It was also equivalent to obtaining the true inheritance of this world. Yang Wu had come into contact with many types of divine chains, but this was the first time he had encountered such a harmless divine chain. This had something to do with the difference in power of martial arts. As the power of the divine chains was pulled into the black and white lotus, the power of the black and white lotus became stronger and stronger. The power of life and death changed faster and faster. The bamboo beside Yang Wu also changed. The old bamboo rapidly aged and soon entered a state of death. It directly withered and died. However, not long after, bamboo shoots broke out of the ground in its original position and slowly grew. Such a cycle of life and death could be called a shocking phenomenon. Who could so easily control the life and death of living things? Yet, Yang Wu possessed such an ability. It was truly inconceivable. As the divine chains kept entering, the sound of the bamboo grew louder and louder. Yang Wu saw a different kind of divine chain power. It was an offensive martial arts. The martial arts of life also had an offensive side. The bamboo shadow of the test was the offensive side of the path of life. It could make the bamboo grow infinitely long and contain endless life force. The attack power would also be stronger, and it would be easy to kill people. Yang Wu understood the offensive true essence of the path of life. The stronger the vitality, the more boundless the power of living things, and the stronger the combat power. At this moment, the vitality in his body grew wildly. His whole body exuded a vigorous vitality. His skin became crystal clear and lustrous. His immortal chi became more and more oppressive. The immortal root in his body suddenly moved. The power of the immortal root rarely took the initiative to react. In these 10 years, Yang Wu rarely used the power of the immortal root. Instead, he focused more on strengthening it, wanting to make it stronger. However, no matter what he did, the amount of immortal chi he absorbed was extremely small. It was as if the immortal root disliked the power he absorbed. Most of the power was purified and absorbed into his dantian. It did not strengthen itself. It could also absorb the power of immortal liquid. This meant that it was extremely picky about power. It was not pure power. It did not care at all. Now, the vitality erupting from his body caused it to move. It was absorbing the vitality erupting from Yang Wu's body, and slowly growing stronger. Not only that, but the bamboo of life in the pond in front of him was also absorbed. It was also accompanied by the power of the divine chains. They were all absorbed by the immortal root without reservation. Yang Wu instantly came to a realization. His immortal root had the characteristic of undying, and the path of life corresponded to this characteristic. With an endless stream of vitality, life would not die. Thus, the immortal root had to be strengthened in order to grow. After Yang Wu was enlightened, he activated the path of life and frantically absorbed the vitality in the pond. It was so difficult to encounter a power that could strengthen his immortal root. He would not let it go. This made him even more excited than increasing his cultivation level. As the power of the pond entered his body, the speed of the river became turbulent. Originally, the water of the river only gathered slowly. Now it rushed over like a flood. The divine chains in front of the pond continuously converted the power of the river into the bamboo of life. In addition, the vitality of the 10,000 bamboos also began to shrink. The essence of their life was completely absorbed by Yang Wu's immortal root. The absorption ability of the immortal root was too terrifying. It affected the entire bamboo forest. The sages who were still in the midst of comprehending were shocked. The sound of the bamboo was too loud, too noisy. It was not as gentle as it was at the beginning. It had lost its guiding power of comprehension. I can't comprehend it this quickly? I've only just understood a little bit of life. So the more powerful one's life is, the more powerful one's attacks will be. In the past, I neglected to temper my physical body's vitality. I'll have to put more effort in this area. So that's how the bamboo's myriad transformations came about. It's a pity that it was interrupted. No, what's going on with this bamboo forest? I can sense that their vitality is disappearing. Could it be that someone has obtained the inheritance here? The bamboo forest covered a large area. There were many sages here. They began to sense the movements here. They saw the green vitality of the bamboos disappear in a certain direction. No matter how stupid they were, they realized that a great change had occurred in the bamboo forest. Unfortunately, they were unable to investigate. The divine chains here were weak, but they still blocked their way, preventing them from going deeper. Xiezhen, who was close to the center, opened his eyes wide and looked into the depth. He muttered, "Could it be that I'm not at the center?" Xiezhen cultivated the path of longevity, which had the same effect as the path of life. That was why he had entered this place through his senses. He had always thought that he was at the center. Now, he realized that his thoughts were a bit natural. Without any hesitation, he headed deeper into the cave. Unfortunately, the power of the divine chains here had changed. He was unable to break through. Chao Jifei, who was next to Yang Wu, was completely stunned. Is he the son of an immortal? Chapter 1535. Yang Wu's entire body was shrouded in immortal qi. It was not an exaggeration to say that he looked like an immortal descending to the mortal world. Layers of immortal qi surrounded him, and immortal light floated up and down, making him look perfect and flawless. No matter who saw him, they would be subdued by his bearing. Chao Jifei was mesmerized. She had always known that he was outstanding, but she had never tried to get close to him. She was afraid that if she got too close to him, she would fall for him. This was not the result she wanted. However, after meeting him again and again, she could not erase the deep impression she had of him in her mind. Yang Wu's appearance was divine, his battle prowess was formidable, and his talent in alchemy was even greater. He was truly a peerless talent. Which woman wouldn't fall in love with him? Now, Yang Wu had unleashed the power of the immortal foundation, making him even more perfect. How could she resist? She was like other women, a moth flying into a flame. She knew that the result would not be good, but she was still willing to like him. Yang Wu had completely entered a state of oblivion. He could not sense Chao Jifei's attention at all. He only focused on strengthening the power of the immortal foundation. Originally, the immortal foundation was only the size of a little finger. After absorbing the vitality, it became the size of a thumb and was still growing. His body's vitality was also rising. Most of the immortal ascension experts' vitality was not as abundant as his. After an unknown amount of time, the power of the immortal foundation reached the size of 2 thumbs before it stopped. The vitality here was only so effective on it. This was already very impressive. It had grown 2 or 3 times. This was a great gain for him. This was not only the vitality of Qi Tan's bamboo spring of life, but also the vitality of Wanzhou. It was only because of this that it grew to this extent. It was enough to show how demanding the power of the immortal foundation was. However, after comprehending the Tao of life and obtaining the power of the divine chain, he already knew how to strengthen the immortal foundation in the future. This was one of his greatest gains. As long as he could continue to strengthen the immortal foundation, it did not matter even if the speed was a little slower. Yang Wu withdrew his immortal qi and recovered. He spread out his hands and sensed the state of his body. A charming smile appeared on his face as he murmured, "This feels much better." He only felt that his body had been cleansed again, and he was getting closer and closer to the immortal body. This feeling of lightness made him extremely close to the world. He could sense the power contained in the world at any time. As long as he wanted to, he could easily gather this power. Yang Wu looked at Chao Jifei. Her face instantly turned red, and she didn't dare to look at him directly. She was a natural empress, and she was the only one who could subdue others. No one could easily make her nervous and shy. Yang Wu conquered her just like that. Yang Wu was puzzled and asked, "Consort Ji, what's wrong? Did I disturb your meditation?" Chao Jifei came back to her senses and replied, "You caused quite a commotion just now. I think it's not just me who was disturbed. Everyone here must have been disturbed." She paused for a moment and asked, "Did you obtain the ultimate inheritance here?" Yang Wu didn't deny it and replied, "The power here is compatible with one of the powers I comprehended. It really is a great gain. You're really amazing." Chao Jifei praised from the bottom of her heart. Yang Wu touched his face and said, "If you praise me like that, I'll blush. You're so talkative. Since you obtained a great gain, let's go." Chao Jifei glanced at Yang Wu and said. Unknowingly, the two of them became much closer. Yang Wu replied, "There's no rush. There are still many good things here worth collecting. You can take some of the old bamboos and the bamboo dew. Also, you can't miss out on the bamboo spring of life here." "Didn't you say that I can't take the jade spring of life?" "Originally, I couldn't take it. Now, it's not a problem," Yang Wu said as he strode towards the pool. He could clearly see the power of the divine chains there. A martial will that was compatible with the power of the divine chains appeared on his body. The power of the divine chains wouldn't hurt him. Yang Wu took out a special water bag. It was made from the skin of a sacred beast and contained the holy qi. He stored all the jade spring of life in it. The fat Taoist taught him how to refine this sacred beast skin water bag. Once, they found a holy spring in the forest. Yang Wu wanted to dig up the holy spring and take it away, but he was stopped by the fat Taoist. The fat Taoist told him the method to refine a water bag that could easily contain the holy spring. It was precisely after that time that Yang Wu got a lot of holy beast skin water bags, and now it just so happened that they came in handy. After Yang Wu took the bamboo spring of life, he was in a good mood. Just as he was about to leave, he found a sparkling jade treasure at the bottom of the pool. He reached out and grabbed the treasure. He looked at it and excitement flashed in his eyes. Could this be the jade essence of life? The jade essence of life was a true God-level divine item. It contained endless life essence. Whoever obtained it could live for at least 10,000 years. Such an item was rare even in the God realm. It was too difficult to produce. Yes, other than the power of the divine chains, this jade essence of life is the root of the transformation into the bamboo spring of life. It is also an important true God item to build the God Palace. Yang Wu understood the key to the pool. It was also at this time that an incomparably overbearing saber-light power suddenly swept towards Yang Wu. The opponent's attack was very fierce. He did not show any mercy. He was determined to kill Yang Wu. Yang Wu was drunk in joy and did not sense the opponent's arrival. When the saber-light was about to touch him, the surrounding divine chains moved and turned into bamboo shadow power to block the saber-light attack. Bang! The divine chains were more overbearing. They completely blocked the saber-light. Yang Wu, who was still in the pool, was startled. He quickly pulled himself out of the pool. The divine chain's power was disturbed. He would be attacked inexplicably in the middle. Fortunately, he had comprehended the same martial path. Otherwise, he would have been killed. After Yang Wu saw the person who came, anger flashed in his eyes. What do you mean? The person who came was Xiezhen. He came here with his own ability. Hand over the jade essence of life. Xiezhen did not hide his desire for the jade essence of life in Yang Wu's hands. It was a divine item that only existed in legends. Are you sure you want it? Yang Wu asked back. Yes. Xiezhen said firmly. Haha, then I'll give it to you. After Yang Wu laughed wildly, he activated the Tao of Life and activated the power of the divine chains. The divine chains turned into bamboo shadows and lashed out at Xiezhen. Xiezhen was predicted to be the second martial saint. His combat strength was not ordinary. He waved his arms like blades to block the power of the divine chains. However, he underestimated the power of the divine chains. Even if Yang Wu only activated 20% or 20% of their power, it was still not something he could block. The power of his hand blade was crushed. He was so scared that he quickly dodged. If he was a little slower, he would have been killed. You obtained the inheritance of the divine palace? Xiezhen cried out in surprise. Take a guess. Yang Wu smiled and waved his palms. The power of the divine chains was under his control, and the shadows of the bamboos were whipped out. Xiezhen's expression changed. He quickly retreated and slashed out with his saber. Xiezhen's strength was not exaggerated. His slash had the power to sweep away an army and destroy all life on the battlefield. Boom! After the saber light collided with the power of the divine chains, the saber light was instantly shattered. The terrifying power of the bamboo shadows lashed out at him. Xiezhen was still retreating. He realized that his opponent was invincible in the divine palace. If he continued to fight, he would still lose. Come and go as you wish. How can it be so easy? Yang Wu shouted and increased the power of the divine chains. The power of the bamboo shadows instantly soared. Nearly 1,000 bamboo shadows lashed out at Xiezhen with terrifying power. The power of the divine chains could kill a high-level Jade Moon Realm expert. This situation was the same as Xianyuan Yujun in the War Tomb. She could control the power of the divine chains, so she could erupt with extremely powerful combat strength. Yang Wu was the same. He was not using his own combat strength. He was only using the power of the martial way to deal with Xiezhen. Xiezhen naturally knew the power of the divine chains. He waved his saber and slashed out. He had to open a path, or he might be killed by Yang Wu. However, no matter how strong he was, he could not resist the divine chains. The power of his slashes was continuously shattered. His body was also violently whipped, and his figure was flipped over. If it wasn't for the fact that he was wearing a divine armor, he would have been killed by Zhuiying. Yang Wu wiped away his killing intent and prepared to leave Xiezhen behind. Who would have thought that Xiezhen would let out a loud roar, and the saber in his hand would explode with a terrifying power, breaking through the power of the divine chains and bringing him directly out of this area of divine chains. Yang Wu, the next time I see you, I will definitely take your dog head. Xiezhen left behind ruthless words. Drops of blood spilled, leaving behind bright red marks. These fellows from the major forces have so many tricks up their sleeves. That is definitely a divine battle saber. Yang Wu sighed. If he didn't have any tricks up his sleeve, he wouldn't have become the second martial saint on the prediction list. Chao Jifei walked over and said. Then she added, now that you have defeated him, you should be promoted to the second martial saint. She blinked her big eyes, looking proud of Yang Wu. It was very moving. Yang Wu was somewhat moved. He suppressed his thoughts and replied, how could it be so easy? I used the power of the divine chains here, and still couldn't make him stay. His strength is not just for show. Without the advantage here, it won't be easy to defeat him. I don't care. In short, I think you are now the second martial saint, and will soon be the first. You have so much confidence in me. Of course, who asked this young lady to like you? Chapter 1536. The sudden confession caught Yang Wu off guard. Even though his relationship with Chao Jifei had always been good, there had always been a barrier between them that they couldn't break through in the end. Did Chao Jifei break through this layer of relationship? Yang Wu's heart was conflicted. He opened his mouth and wanted to speak, but Chao Jifei's jade-like finger tapped on his lips and said softly, you don't have to say anything. Just let me like you. It doesn't matter if you like me or not. Anyway, I don't plan on getting married. After saying that, she turned around and left without hesitation. Yang Wu looked at her lonely figure and instantly felt a sharp pain in his heart. Did he like Chao Jifei? She was an outstanding woman. The number of men who coveted her could fill the entire tripod city. It was clear how popular she was. He had always had a good impression of her in his heart, but he just couldn't get over it. All these years, he hadn't been moved by any other woman. He didn't want to attract any more love debts. He always felt that he had let them down and that it was unfair to them. While he was hesitating, a teardrop fell from Chao Jifei's face and flew towards Yang Wu behind her. He could clearly see that his heart was suffocating. If he didn't do anything now, he might regret it for the rest of his life and be very sad. In the next moment, he rushed towards Chao Jifei. He blocked her path and said seriously, Jifei, I'm sorry. I can't get over it. I like you, but I really don't have the heart to be in love right now. Chao Jifei's face was full of tears as she said, you coward. After saying that, she gave Yang Wu a hard slap. Slap. Yang Wu didn't resist. His face was slapped hard. Chao Jifei didn't run away. Instead, she stared blankly at Yang Wu and said with a trace of panic, why didn't you dodge? Yang Wu smiled bitterly and said, why should I dodge? I'm a bastard and a coward. I'm afraid of losing you as a friend and confidant. I don't mean anything else. Right now I just can't get over it. I don't have the heart to be in love. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then do you like me or not? Chao Jifei asked. I like you. Who wouldn't like an outstanding woman like you? But right now I can't accept you. Can you give me some time? Yang Wu said with an affectionate expression. Chao Jifei's tears turned into a smile and said, It's enough to hear you say that. Anyway, I don't want to marry you. I just know that you like me. Let's go. We should go. She was worthy of being an empress. She was born with a strong heart. After a short period of sadness, she regained her calm. Just as she said, she didn't have to marry Yang Wu. She just wanted to know if he liked her or not. Liking someone didn't mean that she had to have him, right? Yang Wu saw that she regained her composure so quickly and let out a sigh of relief. He definitely didn't want to hurt her or lose her because of his problems. This might be the best result. The two of them started to walk out. The atmosphere between the two of them became a little strange. Neither of them knew what to say. It was as if they had just said everything they wanted to say in their lives. Neither of them were overly sentimental people. However, in the face of love, they were still lost and didn't know what to do. When they walked out, they happened to meet Qin Shixi. When Qin Shixi saw Yang Wu and Chao Jifei, he felt a stab of pain in his heart. He couldn't help but curse in his heart, adulterous couple. However, he still greeted them. Greetings, benefactor, Fairy Chao. Yes, we're going out. Do you want to go together? Yang Wu replied softly. He had always seen Qin Shixi's change, but he couldn't comment on it. In any case, his admiration for Qin Shixi had changed to contempt. There was nothing wrong with liking a woman. However, if he started to be ungrateful for a woman, then there was nothing to say. It could only be said that everyone had their own ambitions. Qin Shixi wanted to refuse, but after glancing at Chao Jifei, he agreed, "Of course, let's go together." He walked to Chao Jifei's other side as if it was a matter of course. He saw the tear stains on her face. They hadn't been cleaned yet. Perhaps this was his chance. When Chao Jifei saw Qin Shixi approaching, she frowned and leaned slightly toward Yang Wu. Even if she and Yang Wu didn't end up together, it wouldn't be his turn. Qin Shixi was worthy of being a member of the imperial family. He was refined and courteous. He purposely picked the topic of alchemy to attract Chao Jifei's attention. Unfortunately, he felt like he was displaying his slight skill in front of an expert. Chao Jifei only glanced at him with disdain and didn't pay him any attention. This made him feel very frustrated. So many women became obedient in front of him. Why couldn't they do the same in front of Chao Jifei? Could it be because Yang Wu was by her side? His hostility toward Yang Wu grew even stronger. After they left the bamboo forest, there were still people lingering behind the river. There were also people who came out earlier than him. Zhang Xiaoru, Lai Yifeng, Gong Zhe, and the others were still there. Gobi and Gore didn't run around either. They were still waiting for Yang Wu to take them to the outside world. After Yang Wu and Chao Jifei returned, Yang Wu took the initiative to say, "Jifei, Xiaoru, come with me to the second level." Then he looked at Qin Shixi and said, "You've accompanied me for so long. Let's part here." Some things had to be said straightforwardly and clearly. He was magnanimous, but that didn't mean he could tolerate Qin Shixi being an eyesore. Qin Shixi's face stiffened. Then he nodded and said, Then let's part ways." Chao Jifei muttered to herself, "I won't go to the second level with you. I don't want to overestimate myself. There are many sacred objects here that are worth collecting. If I go to the second level, I'll just be a burden to you." Zhang Xiaoru raised his eyebrows and looked at Chao Jifei. He didn't seem to understand why she said that. Originally, they had decided to go to the second level. He was a half-step into heaven-piercing, and so was the first splitting edge. It wouldn't be difficult for them to enter the second level. Even if there were some dangers, they would still be able to protect themselves. How could they not go just like that? Yang Wu furrowed his brows and said, "Fine, I'll have the two of them stay behind to protect you. You can't refuse." Chao Jifei opened her mouth but didn't object. Yang Wu patted the Cyclops and said, "Protect her and the others well. When I return, I'll think of a way to take you out. If anything happens to her, I'll hold you responsible." "Don't worry, Master. I definitely won't let any harm come to her," Gobi promised. Gore said, I'm willing to protect her with my life. The Cyclops' words were worth 1,000 gold. They really would do what they said. Chao Jifei didn't refuse Yang Wu's arrangement. With the Cyclops following them, they would be much safer. Even if she didn't think for herself, she still had to think for the others. She couldn't let her emotions affect her decisions. Qin Shitzi watched from the side and thought to himself, looks like there really is something wrong with the two of them. I have to seize this opportunity. It had to be said that Qin Shitzi really had a persevering spirit. Yang Wu didn't make any other arrangements. The two Cyclops were enough. Any more would be superfluous. In addition, he'd already gone to the places he wanted to go to on the first floor. It was time for him to head to the second floor. As for what Chao Jifei would think next, it wasn't something he could control. Everything he said to her just now was from his heart. He didn't want to lie to her. He hoped she could understand. Yang Wu once again went on his way alone. Without a group of people following behind him, he felt much more relaxed. The only sad thing was that he hadn't completely accepted Chao Jifei's love. He muttered in his heart, I'm simply Lu Xiahui. The beauty had already thrown herself into his arms, yet he still had the heart to refuse. He really couldn't sit still. Yang Wu didn't waste any time and headed straight for the entrance to the second floor. His jade token had the ability to guide him, so he didn't have to worry about getting lost. On the way, he restrained his aura and leisurely hurried along. He wasn't worried about being discovered by other creatures. His ability to conceal himself could be considered first class. Even if he was discovered, he could dodge with the void shuttle technique. He came and went without a trace, coming and going as he pleased. On the way, he found some good things and put them all in his bag. Even if the creatures there had objections, he would properly reason with them. If he couldn't reason with his mouth, he would use his fists to reason with them. He would always be able to reason with them. Like this, he still obtained quite a few good things. At the same time, he also met some saints. Seeing them gain something and seeing them in danger, he didn't interfere. They all had jade tokens to protect their lives, so it wasn't his turn to meddle in other people's business. Sometimes, when he saw leisurely saints, he would open his mouth and ask if they had seen two children. One was his son Xie Tian and the other was Yang Zixing. He wanted to find Xie Tian in the end world space the most and confirm whether Xie Tian was really his son or not. He wasn't able to obtain any information about Xie Tian and Yang Zixing from other people. Yang Wu wasn't disappointed. There were some things that couldn't be forced. If it was like the divine mathematician said, the gods and demons would meet in the end and he would be the important person to resolve this disaster. They would definitely reunite as father and son. How could I, Yang Wu's son, be a demon seed? He can only be an immortal seed. Yang Wu thought with certainty in his heart. Unknowingly, he arrived at the entrance to the second floor. There were quite a few powerful creatures in the vicinity. Whoever wanted to enter the second floor would have to pass through their territory. This would inevitably alarm them and they would definitely attack. However, there were rules to follow. As long as one paid enough toll, they wouldn't stop them. The creatures here also needed resources to survive. Yang Wu saw some saints that didn't want to pay the toll and were eliminated by the creatures. He also saw some saints that obediently paid the toll to pass through. Just as he was about to rush in, he suddenly saw two familiar figures being harassed by the creatures there. Yu Chen, Yu Hao. Chapter 1537. The brothers Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were left behind by Yang Wu to help Meng Bingxue develop the Marquis Gang. In these 10 years, these two brothers had contributed a lot. They were young, capable, and talented. They handled all kinds of things very well. Even if there were intruders, they would be killed by the two of them. Those who were dissatisfied with the gang could not escape their punishment. It could be said that in the Marquis Gang, they had already become the gang leaders' left and right protectors. It turned out that the limelight of the Marquis gang had been completely overshadowed by them. Now, they were about to enter the second floor and encountered some foreign race creatures blocking their way, which made them unhappy. They were young and impetuous, arrogant and overbearing. How could they obediently hand over the toll? They attacked and injured the creature collecting the toll, which ended up provoking a big guy. That was a true deity-level existence, one of the strongest in the end-world space. Now, this bird-faced foreign race creature stared at Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao and said coldly, "You dare to injure my clansmen. Kneel down and lick the blood stains on the ground clean. Kneel for 7 days and 7 nights, then I'll consider whether to let you pass or not." This bird-faced foreign race creature released a powerful aura, which was quite frightening. His sharp voice was ear-piercing. The saints who were waiting to pass all looked at Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao. Their eyes were filled with pity. The foreign race creatures here were all very strong. Asking for a little toll was nothing. If they gave it, then so be it. As long as they could enter the second floor, it was fine. These two brothers were not willing to part with this little bit of wealth, so they deserved to be dealt with. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao weren't the type of people who would submit so easily. "Birdman, your tone is really big. Do you really think we brothers are afraid of you?" Jin Yuhao shouted. Then he said, "Hurry up and scram. Otherwise, even you will be slaughtered." "Birdman, die!" Jin Yuchen roared. His whole body flickered with golden light, looking like he was going to start a war with this foreign race creature. That foreign race creature and the others also thought they would attack. Who would have thought that they were just bluffing? They quickly turned and fled. They would not be so stupid as to fight a deity-level creature head-on. The two brothers had a tacit understanding. They only needed a glance to know what the other wanted to do. That foreign creature reacted quickly as well. Its sharp eyes flashed as it rushed in front of them, blocking their path once again. "Trying to play tricks in front of me? You're too inexperienced." After saying that, he separated his hands and grabbed at the two of them. As expected of a divine-level expert, his attacks were very powerful. It was as if the space to the left and right was under his control, leaving the two brothers with no way to escape. "Kill!" The two brothers reacted quickly. They could not escape and immediately resisted. At the same time, they threw out the terrifying thunderclap beads. This thunderclap bead's power was astonishing. It was a bead refined by the Marquis gang. Its power was very strong, and it was most suitable to be used to protect one's life. Unfortunately, before the two thunderclap pearls could even touch him, they were sent flying back by his aura. Rumble, rumble. Tragedy befell the two brothers. He had thought that he could save himself, but instead, he had injured himself. "Ha, I am a deity and you are just mortal ants. How dare you plot against me? What a joke." The foreign creature laughed maniacally, and once again grabbed at the two brothers. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were heavily injured. They could not escape even if they wanted to. They cried out, "It's over." Just as they were about to be caught, a strong gust of wind blew them to the other side, and they managed to avoid the fatal blow. Who dares to save them? Do you want to die? The foreign creature's triangular eyes narrowed as he shouted. "The one who wants to die is you. You even dare to kill my men. Do you think you can be arrogant just because this is your territory?" An even more arrogant voice rang out lazily. "Master." When Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao saw Yang Wu, they were pleasantly surprised. They did not expect to meet Yang Wu here. This was great. It would not be difficult for them to enter the second level. You two heal yourselves first. I'll take care of you," Yang Wu replied. The sages around them were all paying attention to the commotion. When Yang Wu appeared, they recognized Yang Wu's identity. "Yang Wu is here. He seems to be very close to the two brothers. Is he going to stand up for them? That's courting death. Rumor has it that Yang Wu can fight against the heavens. Now we can see for ourselves if that's true. Not long ago, I heard that the people from the Medicine Sect Alliance were chased away by Yang Wu. He is indeed very strong. Many of these people had not seen Yang Wu fight before. They were not in a hurry to enter the second level. They stayed to see if Yang Wu and the foreign creature would fight. Besides, there were also foreign creatures who were watching a good show. They knew that the bird-faced man was very strong and was not easy to deal with. He was the strongest existence on the first level. If the human provoked him, it would not bode well for him. Each human is more arrogant than the last. You're just a bunch of cowards. I'll eat you alive. The bird-faced man said faintly and attacked again. The bird-faced man's arms were long and slender. He only had 2 claws on his palms. The claws were extremely sharp. With a light claw, it was as if the space was being torn apart by him. This was the strength of a god-level powerhouse. How could a sage be compared to him? When he attacked, Yang Wu made his move as well. You want to eat me alive? Then I'll teach you how to be a human. Oh no, a bird-faced man! Yang Wu shouted. He shuttled through the void and landed on the bird-faced man's head. He slapped down angrily. Bang! This foreign creature had not expected Yang Wu's speed to be this fast. Furthermore, he appeared and disappeared like a ghost. He felt as though his entire head was about to be smashed apart by Yang Wu's slap. After Yang Wu succeeded in his move, he did not show any mercy as he slapped down again and again. There was no trace of Xian Qi floating around his palm. He was just using his physical body's strength, and that was enough to slap this god-level living being's head until it bled. The bird-faced man let out a series of tragic cries. He wanted to fight back. However, Yang Wu's strength was way too ferocious. He could not even use his strength under the pressure. Furthermore, he felt as though he was going to be beaten to death. The strength of this human was way stronger than his. Right now, he was filled with regret. Why did he have to come out and provoke these humans for no reason? He was really asking for it. But it was a pity that there was no medicine for regret. Yang Wu was going to beat him to death. How dare you beat up my men and ignore me? You deserve to be beaten up. Guarding the entrance and collecting tolls. Did you ask me for permission? You deserve to be beaten up. You look like neither a human nor a bird. Just looking at you is annoying. All the more you deserve to be beaten up. The bird-faced man's head was smashed apart. Even his sturdy skull could not withstand Yang Wu's slaps. A living god-level living being had been beaten to death by Yang Wu's bare hands. The surrounding living beings were all dumbfounded. A god-level living being was beaten to death just like that? Yang Wu also realized that this foreign creature seemed to have died. He lifted his corpse up to confirm, and then said in exasperation, "He died just like that? Sigh, life is fleeting. You have to cherish it." In the next moment, he lightly tossed the god-level corpse aside, as if he was casually tossing away a piece of trash. Immediately afterward, he glanced at the foreign creatures who were collecting tolls. He swore that he was only looking at them casually and had no intention of attacking them. As a result, these foreign creatures fled in panic like birds startled by the twang of a bow. Hundreds of foreign creatures disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. All of the saints present were dumbfounded. They exclaimed in their minds, This is way too intimidating." Yang Wu came to his senses. Why did they all flee? Are we still going to collect the toll then? What a joke, you killed a god-level living being. It was all because of the tolls. It was also at this moment that many saints took the opportunity to rush into the Gate of Light. If not now, when would they enter? Waiving the tolls would save them a lot of money. "My lord you're so strong," Jin Yuchen said sincerely. Jin Yuhao also said in admiration, "I'm convinced." In the past, when Jin Xiu had entrusted them to Yang Wu, they had really resisted. After all, they were all astonishingly talented and powerful. How could they submit to someone else? Furthermore, they were doing fine in Kunlun and had never thought of leaving. Only now did they realize that their father had extremely high standards and that it was not wrong for them to follow Yang Wu. Without Yang Wu, they would not have been able to improve so quickly. A divine alchemist was not someone who could follow just because they wanted to, and the battle prowess that Yang Wu displayed was even more unparalleled. Even if their old man Jin Qiu reappeared, it would probably be hard for him to last one exchange. What's there to be convinced about? Where's your gang leader? Yang Wu asked. We got separated from gang leader. She might have already advanced to the second level. Gang leader's strength is much stronger than ours. And then let's go in too. Don't be anxious. My lord doesn't want this birdman's god corpse, but us brothers want it. Right, this god corpse is a good thing, something that can be chanced upon but not sought. Virtue. Final realm space's second level. A very big change occurred here. All of the aura became incomparably oppressive. It felt like a heavy rock was pressing down on the top of one's head, making one have a feeling of being unable to breathe. The gravity of the aura here underwent a very big change. Even saints would find it hard to fly too high. But the heaven and earth profound chi contained here was more than several times denser than the first level. Everything that existed here became even more primitive, and there were even more ancient ruins left behind. This level had even more heaven and earth treasures, but it was also even more dangerous than the first level. After Yang Wu, Jin Yuchen, and Jin Yuhao entered here, they began to encounter the attacks of some vicious birds. These vicious birds were one of the ancient life forms. They were already extinct in the outside world, but here they flew in flocks. Their attacks were incomparably ferocious, and their battle formation was rather frightening. If ordinary saints did not flee fast enough, they would inevitably become their food. Yang Wu did not want to get entangled with them. Just as he was preparing to leave, he suddenly saw two young figures fighting fiercely on the spot. He cried out in pleasant surprise, Xietian Rebirth. Chapter 1538. Xietian and Rebirth, one was the demon seed and one was the divine embryo. The latter being the divine embryo, Yang Wu knew this since he was the one who brought it back. But to say that the former was the demon seed, he definitely could not accept this. He Yang Wu's seed, how could it be the demon seed? Actually, the divine mathematician's judgment was not wrong. Xietian was called the demon seed because from the moment he was born, he was filled with demonic qi. This was a problem with Hou Yudai's physique, and it was also related to her entering the demon race before she was pregnant with Xietian. After Yudai was killed by her brother, it greatly stimulated Xietian's demonic nature. It was because of this that Xietian was destined to be the demon seed. How could Yang Wu know all these things? Whether Xietian was good or bad, he was his seed and not a demon seed. After entering the second floor, he could feel the natural clash between the demon seed and the divine embryo between Xietian and Rebirth. The two of them were not fighting alone, they actually had helpers and those helpers were fighting at the same time. On Xietian's side, there were several powerful demon race beings. These demon race beings were definitely locals and not demons from the demon realm. Their appearance was incomparably fierce, and it was hard to tell what kind of demon race they were, but their battle strength was very strong. On Rebirth's side, there were several thunder wolves with ancient bloodlines. They had large bodies, strong demonic qi, sharp fangs, and their bodies were covered in lightning, giving them a very strong battle strength. The demon race beings and the thunder wolves continued to fight, creating a large disturbance. Hong long. The sky continued to explode, and the living beings in the surroundings were all scared out of their wits. No one dared to watch their battle. This level of battle covered a very large area and normal people did not dare enter. Xietian, this little master will take care of you today, Yang Zixing shouted while riding on a thunder wolf. Xietian was hanging on the shoulder of a giant demon race being with one leg over the other. Biting a straw stick, he said in an evil voice, A little brat like you, even if there were 10 more of you, you wouldn't be a match for me." Yang Zixing was filled with anger as he replied, "Your mouth must have eaten garlic, it really stinks. You'll know in a while whether my breath stinks or not." Xie Tian narrowed his eyes as he spoke. Then he shouted at the demon beside him, "You pieces of trash haven't eaten your fill? Why are you taking so long to fight? Let's kill these wolves first. I want to capture that brat alive. Lei Lang, unleash your most powerful lightning power. The power of lightning is merciless, exterminate the demons." Yang Zixing was not to be outdone. These two children had given their followers a death order, completely disregarding their lives and only letting them fight to the end. No one knew why they were able to command these creatures. It was probably an innate ability. When Yang Wu saw them, he quickly rushed over. This time, he had to take down Xie Tian. He firmly believed that in this world, there would be no other expert who could stop him. He directly passed through the void and headed in Xie Tian's direction. He wanted to take down Xie Tian without anyone noticing. However, Xie Tian's reaction was too fast. When Yang Wugong rushed over, he could actually sense a fluctuation of energy, which quickly swept away from the body of the Devil Clan. "Who?" Xie Tian called out in shock. Yang Wu grabbed empty air and said with a look of surprise, "You can actually notice my existence, you're not bad." After that, he grabbed at Xie Tian again. "Stop him." Xie Tian gave the order to the demons. He quickly retreated, not wanting to be caught by Yang Wu at all. Although the demons were strong, they were still lacking a bit if they wanted to stop Yang Wu. Yang Wu turned into a gust of wind and charged at Xie Tian. His hands kept forming seals, and an invisible energy covered the world, wanting to bind Xie Tian. Yang Zixing charged over and shouted at Yang Wu, "Patriarch, you can't steal my opponent." Yang Wu ignored him. With the world binding him, Xie Tian couldn't escape even if he had wings. "Want to trap me? How could it be that easy?" Xie Tian had quite a few methods. After he shouted out, a shuttle appeared and forcefully broke through Yang Wu's space. Yang Wu knit his brows again and muttered, "Father can only use force." Void Hand. Yang Wu didn't want to hurt Xie Tian, but if he didn't use a bit of force, he wouldn't be able to keep Xie Tian here. The Void Hand could pass through space and grabbed at Xie Tian. No matter how fast Xie Tian was, he was still a bit slower and was caught by Yang Wu's Void Hand. "Bastard, the young one can't fight, but the old one, does your Yang family people have any face? Quickly let this young master go." Xie Tian shouted as he struggled. Yang Wu charged at Xie Tian in the air and the demons released a powerful attack at Yang Wu. "Let go of master!" The demons roared out. Yang Wu was anxious to reunite with Xie Tian, so he didn't want to waste time with these demons at all. His figure flashed as he sent out his palms, turning the demons into blood mist one by one. Yang Wu's battle strength was too strong. Beings that weren't divine level weren't even worth looking at in his eyes. Good, the Patriarch is this strong," Yang Zixing said in a stunned voice after seeing Yang Wu make a move. These demons were at least half a step into the heaven-piercing realm, but in Yang Wu's eyes, they were like ants that couldn't even take a single hit. Xie Tian was also shocked by Yang Wu's strength. Since he started cultivating, he had fought many powerful beings and killed many powerful beings by his hands, but there was no one like Yang Wu who could shock him as much as he did. Of course, that old pervert master was an exception. Yang Wu finally arrived in front of Xie Tian, in front of his son. Yang Wu stared at Xie Tian, looking at his young appearance. The blood in his body boiled faster and faster and his eyes were covered in a layer of mist. Xie Tian being stared at by Yang Wu made his body feel uncomfortable. The blood in his body also became incomparably restless, as if there was an indescribable feeling growing inside him. It was like there was a kind of indescribable intimacy between him and the person in front of him. He had only felt this kind of feeling from his mother, no one else would give him this kind of feeling. Yang Wu grabbed Xie Tian's hand and directly cut his finger, taking out a drop of essence blood. Xie Tian woke up and shouted, "If you want to kill me, do as you please." Actually, he was thinking of a way to escape. Yang Wu ignored Xie Tian and also forced out a drop of his own essence blood. The 2 drops of boiling essence blood floated, and his eyes revealed an expectant look as he muttered, "Fuse." The 2 drops of essence blood collided and began to fuse. They began to mix together, releasing an indescribable feeling of joy. The same origin bloodline power was calling out to Yang Wu and Xie Tian. Yang Wu gave an excited wild laugh. "Ha ha! It really is my seed, it really is my seed." Essence blood fusing, bloodline connection. This was the appearance of the same origin bloodline. Yang Wu's bloodline was also wrapped around Xie Tian's bloodline, so it was very clear that they were subordinate. Suddenly, a heaven and earth phenomenon appeared. There was an endless demonic shadow that appeared, like a terrifying demon trying to break free from the shackles of heaven and earth. The essence blood wrapped around it also turned into a demon, trying to break free from Yang Wu's essence blood. Yang Wu's essence blood turned into black tortoise, wanting to suppress the demonic shadow. A giant demonic shadow appeared in the sky and the 2 collided with each other. For a while, the world turned into ruins and countless living beings were implicated, dying one after another. Yang Wu's soul I couldn't help opening. It was like he could see the future, seeing a terrifying demon god appear and slaughter 10,000 races. No one could stop it. His eyes fell onto Xie Tian's body. The demonic qi around Xie Tian became stronger and stronger, like there was a demonic soul attached to his body. The demonic qi was very strong and it was filled with hostility. It even revealed a fierce smile at him. "Demon!" Yang Wu shouted. Soul power appeared in his soul eye, wanting to exterminate the demonic soul. However, the demonic soul quickly turned into Xie Tian's appearance, scaring Yang Wu into taking back his soul power. The demonic soul entered the evil sky divine court and he released an incomparably strong strength, breaking free from Yang Wu's control. He poured all his strength into the shuttle soldier in his hand and escaped again. This time, Xie Tian's speed was several times faster. Even Yang Wu's void hand found it hard to catch him. He chased through the void and loudly shouted, "Xie Tian, you are my son!" The escaping Xie Tian's body and mind trembled. A blank look appeared on his face for a short while, but soon an evil aura appeared as he shouted, "I don't have a father, I only have a mother." Seeing that Yang Wu was about to catch up with him again, a talisman appeared in his hand, and he stuck it on the shuttle soldier. The power of the shuttle soldier once again skyrocketed, and it quickly left Yang Wu's sight. How could Yang Wu give up on his son? Whether it was the end of the world or the corner of the sea, he had to catch him. Xie Tian did not have his master's protection, but he still had many methods. The direction he was running in was the territory of the demon race. After he came here, he loudly shouted, "Quickly come and protect this young master, there is someone who wants to kill me." This was the second floor, there were some survivors living here. The demons here were the races that had been left here before, so they were strong enough. There were even god-level demons among them. When Xie Tian arrived, the demon race beings here were all shocked. There were 3 old demons that came over and one of them said, "Young Tian, we're here." There was a demonic mark on Xie Tian's forehead, and there was a strong demonic qi in his body, showing that he was a demon and the emperor of the demon race. These demons were willing to listen to his orders and recognized Xie Tian as the master that would take them away. After Yang Wu arrived, the 3 powerful demons directly used their demon god weapons to attack Yang Wu. "You dare block me!" Yang Wu impatiently wanted to explain this matter to Xie Tian. The father and son would recognize each other, and he did not want to delay at all. With these demons blocking his path, the anger in his heart was already ignited. "Those who offend young Tian will be killed. Humans are our food, those who enter our territory will be killed." Chapter 1539. In the first level, it was rare to see God-level life forms, but in the second level, there were 3 of them. It was enough to see how big the difference was between this place and the first level. These 3 demon life forms were very powerful, not something that ordinary immortal realm powerhouses could compare to. This world was shrouded in demonic chi. There were demon fists and demon palms attacking Yang Wu, wanting to kill Yang Wu. The devil chi that blotted out the sky and covered the earth sealed the heaven and earth. It was impossible to give Yang Wu a chance to survive. However, Yang Wu was at his most anxious, so how could he be entangled with them? He only wanted to reunite with his son. If gods blocked him, he would kill gods. If demons blocked him, he would kill demons. Void shuttling technique. Yang Wu broke through the restraints of space and arrived beside a demon life form in the blink of an eye. He raised a finger. An array of origin magnetic light slashed out like a sword. Origin magnetic sword finger. This demon life form did not even have a chance to react and was cut in half by Yang Wu's sword. The other 2 demon life forms reacted very quickly, rapidly charging in Yang Wu's direction again. Their demonic arts shrouded heaven and earth, squeezing through space, not allowing Yang Wu to have a sliver of space. God-level power could affect space. Yang Wu did not dare to rashly charge into the void again, directly urging the Netherworld Ice Blade Wings to slash out. The Netherworld Ice Blade Wings had already been raised to the 3rd stage of lethality. Killing a God-level powerhouse was not difficult. It was formless and traceless, directly taking the head of a demon life form. The remaining demon life form was completely dumbfounded. Their combat strength was so powerful, their defensive power was so strong, but in front of Yang Wu, they were like paper, unable to withstand a single blow. Just how strong was this human? Just how strong Yang Wu was, actually, even he himself did not know. 10 years of wandering between various worlds, he had many experiences, many gains, all integrated into one. Ordinary God-level life forms really did not affect him much. When the last demon life form closed his eyes and waited for death, he discovered that Yang Wu had left. He broke out in a cold sweat and muttered, "What kind of person did young Master Tian provoke?" Yang Wu didn't kill him, of course he was chasing Xie Tian. Xie Tian was too slippery. When he was entangled by a few devil race creatures, he immediately fled. Yang Wu still could not catch up to Xie Tian. This brat's method of escaping was really superb. His shuttle soldier was a divine weapon that could travel through the void. After entering the void, it was too difficult to find someone. Damned demons! Enraged, Yang Wu returned to the devil race's territory and killed all the devil race's living beings. From this, it could be seen how furious Yang Wu was. Yang Wu extracted 3 divine veins and many saint veins from the devil race's territory, as well as many devil race materials, and then left. He wanted to go back to find Yang Zixing, Jin Yu Chen, and Jin Yu Hao, but he found that they were gone. Yang Wu was not worried. It must be Yang Zixing being naughty, taking Jin Yu Chen and Jin Yu Hao away. The good things on the 2nd floor won't do, I'll take them first. I'll meet Tian sooner or later, I'll just tie him up next time. Yang Wu said to himself. So, for the next period of time, he continued to enter various dangerous places to look for opportunities. He entered the lairs of fierce beasts, the lands of the monster race, and some ancient ruins. He saw some ancient survivors living well, but they were living in a very primitive state. Their vitality was incomparably strong and their cultivation talent was shocking, but it was a pity that they were very xenophobic. Once they saw a human from the outside world, they would chase them away. Even Yang Wu had no way to get close to them. They had powerful priests who had terrifying divine weapons in their hand. If they really fought, he might not be able to gain any advantage. After a period of time, he gained a lot and planned to go to the 3rd floor. There were many opportunities on the 2nd floor. Saints who could stay on the second floor for a period of time could obtain great benefit. Unfortunately, in Yang Wu's eyes, these were just passable. In addition, the level of danger here was also manageable for him. It was not as dangerous as the Divine Firmament battlefield. After all, if one's cultivation level fell in the Divine Firmament battlefield, they would have to recultivate. If they encountered danger there, they might really die. He came to the entrance of the third floor and walked over step by step. There were quite a few powerful creatures there collecting tolls. If he wanted to enter the third floor, he had to hand in 3 Saint Meridians. Otherwise, he would not be able to pass. There were also god-level creatures here, so no one dared to not pay. After Yang Wu arrived, he immediately attracted a lot of attention. In the past half a year, Yang Wu's name had spread to every place, including the natives here. He was an immortal walking in the human world. Someone had already raised his ranking to the top 5, and not just the top 10. Before Yang Wu could force his way through, someone rushed towards him and shouted, "Yang Wu!" Yang Wu turned around and saw that it was Xianyuan Hou. Beside her were a few men with awe-inspiring reputations. All of them looked decent, and they were all looking at Yang Wu with hostility. Xianyuan Hou was still as charming and alluring as before. She wore a red and white dress. Her figure was curvaceous, and she also had an extremely charming face. No matter where she went, she was the most beautiful scenery. "You're here too," Yang Wu said with a smile. Xianyuan Hou approached Yang Wu and said angrily, "What do you mean by I'm here too? Could it be that you look down on me and think that I can't come here?" Xianyuan Hou was obviously much more intimate with Yang Wu. Some of the flower protectors behind her were not satisfied. Before Yang Wu could speak, someone jumped out and said in a strange tone, "Yang Wu, the patriarch of the Yang family, and also a divine alchemist. I thought he was an old man, but it seems like I was thinking too much. His appearance is really not bad." This person was wearing a dazzling divine armor, and carried a rather conspicuous battle weapon on his back. It was a zither, and it was obvious that this person was proficient in the way of the zither. Zither Young Master, ranked 177th on the prediction list, was a quasi-martial saint from the moon-worship demonic sect. The moon-worship demonic sect's position in the transcendent world was not low. It was a rather mysterious superpower that had existed for a very long time, and its foundation was incomparably deep. This person was a loyal follower of Xianyuan Hou. Yang Wu pretended not to hear him, and said to Xianyuan Hou, "Do you want to accompany me to the third floor? Of course, I also want to go in for free, and don't want to pay a toll." "That would be so embarrassing," Xianyuan Hou said with a mischievous expression. Her appearance was extremely cute. Then come in with me," Yang Wu lightly replied. He and Xianyuan Hou were good friends, so there was nothing wrong with going with her. Zither Young Master instantly felt his face burning. He was a dignified sacred elder of the moon-worship demonic sect, and could be considered to have been famous for many years. Being ignored was like being slapped in the face. "Yang Wu, did you not hear me?" Zither Young Master loudly questioned. "Who are you?" Yang Wu looked at Zither Young Master with disdain and asked. Yang Wu had seen many senseless people like him, so he didn't have the slightest good impression of him. Suddenly, Zither Young Master's blood rushed to his head. He wanted to immediately rush up and teach Yang Wu a lesson, but he still suppressed it. He faintly said, "I'm here to calculate the zither brocade of the moon-worship demonic sect, and I want you to listen to a song of mine." Finished speaking, he didn't care whether Yang Wu agreed or not, and took out the zither on his back. He muttered, "Please listen to my song, please enter the Moon Palace to worship Chang-E. Ding dong ding dong." Waves of elegant sounds came from the zither. It was as if the dark clouds had dispersed, and the moon of mid-autumn had appeared. Traces of moonlight sprinkled down, as if Chang-E was caressing her jade-like arm, revealing endless temptation. Many creatures in the vicinity had sunk into a state of infatuation, admiring the beautiful Chong Yi's dance. In this state, Zither Young Master was the ruler. He could easily exterminate those creatures that had sunk into infatuation. The dancing Chong Yi suddenly flew out from the full moon, and her jade-like finger swiftly pointed at Yang Wu's forehead. Chong Yi was flying to the moon. Zither Young Master wanted to kill Yang Wu. However, before Chong East could get close to Yang Wu had already appeared in front of Zither Young Master, and pressed down on the zither with his palm. A burst of noise rang out, and the zither instantly broke into two halves. Pfff. Zither Young Master spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura became incomparably chaotic. The zither was connected to him. When the zither was destroyed, he was also heavily injured. You! Zither Young Master cried out with a face full of fear. Slap! Scram! Yang Wu angrily slapped Zither Young Master, sending him flying. In an instant, the surrounding creatures were all intimidated. The expressions of the flower protectors by Xianyuan Huowu's side became unsightly. They felt that Yang Wu's palm not only hit Zither Young Master's face, but also their faces. They didn't know whether to leave or not, and it was extremely awkward. Yang Wu's gaze fell on them and said, "Don't learn from him. Just be your flower protectors. If you meet a tough guy, don't open your mouth to provoke him. Otherwise, you'll end up like this, especially unsightly." Yang Wu, don't be so arrogant. One of the flower protectors couldn't stand Yang Wu's ridicule, and wanted to argue. Unfortunately, before he could finish speaking, Yang Wu slapped him again. Is there a need to reason with people like him? After Yang Wu said this, he turned around and pulled Xianyuan Huowu towards the entrance of the third floor. The foreign creatures there didn't care who they were, and immediately blocked in front of them. They even drew their weapons and attacked Yang Wu. You want to pass through? Have you asked us? You dare to force your way through just because you want to show off? You really don't know life from death. These foreign race beings shouted as they attacked. Yang Wu had the black tortoise battle armor floating on his body, and their attacks couldn't land on him at all. Their attacks didn't even touch Yang Wu's skin. When Yang Wu swept past them, their bodies all exploded. Bang! Clouds of blood-red mist dissipated one after another. All non-humankind creatures who attacked Ji Hao were killed. In an instant, all the creatures in the vicinity were scared silly. They had seen many experts, but such a ridiculously strong expert was absolutely rare. Zither Young Master, who wasn't killed, was so scared that he almost wet himself. Chapter 1540. The third layer of the last world was a completely different space. This place was simply a purgatory. Many creatures fought in this place, fighting for territory and fighting for survival conditions. The living space here was limited, and every creature was very powerful. They needed all kinds of resources to survive, so they had to fight for territory. Every day, large-scale battles would occur. The heaven and earth spirit chi here was denser than the previous two layers, and the gravity was stronger. Even saints would find it difficult to fly here. Because of this, the realm of the creatures here was rising quickly, and the cycle of the plants growing here was also fast. The growth of heavenly materials and earthly treasures was even faster. Even if it was constantly in a state of war, it could still accelerate the formation of all kinds of high-grade resources. In addition, this place was also the central region of the ancient battlefield. There were many ruins left behind. For instance, there were some martial skill tablets, some martial intent battlefields, some heroic spirits, and even some fallen Tao fields that had been lost to the heavens for a long time. Perhaps one could find some supreme skills and ultimate skills that had been lost for a long time here. After Yang Wu and Xianyuan Huowu entered, they were immediately attacked by some powerful creatures. There was no safe place here, and it was absolutely not easy to hide here. Yang Wu was forced to attack again and again, directly killing some creatures. Only then did he temporarily intimidate some creatures that wanted to continue attacking them. This is really an extremely dangerous place. Xianyuan Huowu sighed with emotion. Let's go quickly. I sense many powerful auras rushing towards us. Yang Wu brought Xianyuan Huowu and rushed towards a direction. The place he brought her to was a place where a fierce battle had just taken place and had just stopped. After the battle, that place had become a land of ruins. There were many remnant huge corpses, as well as all kinds of severed limbs and blood. It was incomparably bloody and nauseating. What kind of race is this? It actually has 3 heads. It doesn't look like a human, but it doesn't look like a ghost. Xianyuan Huowu was worthy of being someone from a large family. She had experienced many scenes and was still incomparably calm in the face of such a bloody scene. Yang Wu was also trying to determine what kind of race it was. He had read many ancient books, but it was difficult to determine what kind of race it was. There were some creatures that couldn't be recorded in ancient books, or some records had been lost long ago. Huan Wu, get out of the way! Yang Wu suddenly shouted and pulled Xianyuan Huan Wu away. A bloody mist exploded in front of them. Yang Wu used his body to block the bloody mist for Xianyuan Huowu. He was confident in the black tortoise battle armor. The explosive power would not hurt him. Indeed, the power of the blood mist did not hurt him, but some invisible power passed through the defensive armor and imprinted on his body. Even Yang Wu, who had always been very cautious, did not notice it. Are you all right? Xianyuan Huowu asked nervously. Yang Wu shook his head and said, I'm fine. Don't get close to these corpses. They're very strange. Amen, let's find a safe place to stay. This place is a little scary, Xianyuan Huowu replied in a deep voice. Where is the Pure Land? Yang Wu sighed. If there's no Pure Land, then let's go and dominate a region. What do you think? Xianyuan Huowu said with high fighting spirit. Yang Wu glanced at the high-spirited Xianyuan Huowu, laughed heartily and said, Amen, you're right. If there's no Pure Land, then let's dominate a region. Just as he finished speaking, he saw a group of people rushing in their direction. This troop was clearly of the same race as the corpses here. There were 5,000 to 6,000 of them. Each of them was carrying a weapon, and were shouting strangely. They were densely packed, and their battle formation was quite astonishing. Let's get out of here first. Yang Wu reacted quickly. He pulled Xianyuan Huowu and quickly fled. Those creatures had not discovered their existence, and they had already left. However, after they arrived, they squeaked for a while, and then rushed in the direction Yang Wu and the others had left. Yang Wu was already far away from the battlefield, and was attacked by some creatures. He was really in the middle of a battle all the time. These creatures had basically reached the Sage Realm, and there was even a demigod realm creature that could kill them at any time. Under such circumstances, no one could avoid fighting even if they wanted to. No matter how strong one was, there was a possibility that they would die from exhaustion. Fortunately, Yang Wu was a super expert. His physical body was extremely strong, and he did not need to use Xian Qi to kill them. He would be able to last much longer than the others. Xianyuan Huowu was also very strong. She was the strongest bloodline user who had reached the 12th level of the God of War Pagoda, just like Yang Wu. She had already cultivated to the 10th level of the Star Rune Realm. Such speed was indeed very rare. She was different from the people around Yang Wu. The people around Yang Wu had all been promoted by the immortal elixir, but she did not have such treatment. She had completely relied on her own talent and the resources of her clan to reach this stage. Her physique was probably not inferior to Kuan Mingzi's. She was also a seed that was qualified to enter the divine realm. She was ranked in the top 100 of the predicted martial saint list. Almost all the people in the top 100 of the predicted martial saint list were half-step to the heaven ascension realm. There were very few saints of other realms who were at the pinnacle of the saint realm. People like her and Yang Wu, who had not reached the pinnacle of the Saint Realm and were already in the top 100, were very rare. If others could be ranked in the top 10,000, it would already be quite amazing. From this, it could be seen that she was not just saying that she wanted to dominate a clan. She had the confidence to do so. However, before they could choose which clan to attack, the group of three-headed monsters that had just chased them appeared behind them again. Yang Wu frowned and muttered, "Why are they here again? Could it be a coincidence?" Xianyuan Huowu asked. Yang Wu shook his head and said, "It doesn't seem like a coincidence. Let's change places again." Yang Wu brought Xianyuan Huowu to change places again. In the end, it did not take long for the three-headed monsters to catch up again. "You've been hit by my clan's blood curse. You can't escape. Obediently wait for death." A three-headed monster in the group of three-headed monsters let out an ear-piercing voice. Blood curse? Could it be the bloody mist from the explosion? Yang Wu asked suspiciously. "They seem very powerful. Why don't we just subdue them?" Xianyuan Huowu said. When she finished speaking, she had already turned into a fiery shadow and rushed towards the three-headed monsters. She shouted, "Become this princess slaves." Xianyuan Huowu's attack was very tyrannical. Terrifying phoenix flames immediately descended on their heads, wanting to wipe out the thousands of living beings in one fell swoop. These three-headed monsters were not to be trifled with. On the contrary, they were a relatively strong clan in this space. Their group was made up of powerful elites, and there were even several demigods among them. Xianyuan Huowu wanted to deal with them by herself? How could it be so simple? One of the heads rushed forward and waved a bone whip, scattering Xianyuan Huowu's flames. The three heads also launched different attacks. One head's eyes shot out rays of light, another head spat out poisonous mist from its nose and mouth, and another head spat out a baleful aura from its mouth. The three different attacks were all aimed at Xianyuan Huowu in unexpected ways. Xianyuan Huowu reacted quickly. A mirror appeared and directly blocked the attacks, reflecting them back. In addition, her delicate hand slapped towards the three-headed monster. Her palm turned into the shape of a phoenix and fell towards the three-headed monster with torrential flames. The phoenix flames had already reached the deity rank. The three-headed monster could not dodge in time. After being touched by the phoenix flames, it immediately cried out in pain. Not long after, it turned into ashes. The other three-headed monsters joined forces and launched a frenzied attack on her. Even a deity rank expert would have to retreat. Xianyuan Huowu quickly retreated and shouted, "Little Wu, quickly come and help me. They are very strong." There was no need for her to shout. A portion of the three-headed monsters had already rushed towards Yang Wu. "You are the one who slaughtered my clansmen. You deserve 10,000 death." The three-headed monster pointed at Yang Wu and said with certainty. Yang Wu ignored them. After continuously sensing his body several times, he finally found some clues. His body was stained with a trace of an undetectable blood odor. This blood odor could be said to be invisible, making it very difficult to detect its existence. This blood odor invisibly released a signal. It was like a blood curse that could be sensed by other clansmen. Because of this, no matter where Yang Wu and Xianyuan Huowu went, they would be found. After figuring this out, Yang Wu circulated his energy and erased this invisible blood odor. At the same time, the three-headed monster's attacks had already landed on his body. Yang Wu's black tortoise battle armor's defensive power had reached an invincible level. Those attacks could barely touch his body before they were completely neutralized. "All right, I'll conquer your clan," Yang Wu said and began his counterattack. The nether ice-winged blades flew out and began to harvest their heads like harvesting straw. Puff! Regardless of how strong or weak the three-headed monsters were, they were all killed. In addition, Yang Wu also summoned Blue Demoness to help Xianyuan Huowu and prevent her from getting hurt. The two balls of divine fire were extremely powerful. These three-headed monsters could not stop them at all. The three-headed monsters screamed incessantly as their formation began to collapse. The demigod-level three-headed monsters finally couldn't sit still any longer. They separately attacked Xianyuan Huowu and Yang Wu. These three-headed monsters were very strong. They were stronger than ordinary half-step, heavenly arrival experts of the human race. Their attacks were quite strange and ruthless. Xianyuan Huowu was having a hard time dealing with them and had no choice but to use her divine weapon. The human race with tender skin looks delicious. These are outsiders of the human race. They're all completely mutated. If they're really humans here, we can't afford to provoke them. These demigod three-headed monsters underestimated Xianyuan Huowu and Yang Wu. As a result, they were completely doomed.